When last we left off, the party had reached Thessalora, and it was decided that they were going to have some downtime. So it's been a week and a half in game time, or wait, no, 2.5 weeks in game time because it's been 18 days at this point. And so we're just going to run through what the characters did. Feel free to give as much detail as you want on what happened with you, and we're going to start off with Tempest.
So I'll give a recap going through the different noticeable or big things that happened. If I miss anything important that, like in how Tempest interacted with any of you or anything that you think was noteworthy, please feel free to chime in. But we first arrived in Thessalora, and Tempest was blindfolded and bound. When we got to our inn and was set up for the night, you guys were keeping me under close watch. A brief escape attempt was thwarted by Yaereene, and later that same evening, Ysmyr's younger brother Dowreth snuck into Tempest's room and stated that he wanted Tempest's ring. Tempest then snapped his bonds and was determined to try and wrestle the young dragon into submission, thinking that he would teach him some humility, caution, and make him apologize to Ysmyr for calling her not a real dragon. That didn't happen. The dragon kicked my ass and stole my ring, and much shame was felt by Tempest. He went back to the guards and asked them to tie him back up, and that he was very sorry to have accidentally broken his bonds. And they did so. The next day, he requested to go to the training grounds of the elves, and he found an elf who was willing to take him on as a student to teach him in the art of blind fighting. And this blind elf, whose name was Yaereene, basically became a surrogate mother figure. She checked all the boxes to be a mother figure to Tempest. She was strong, competent, beat him up a lot, and refused to put up with his nonsense. So Tempest found like a surrogate mother figure in the city, and having trained with her, having spent a lot of time with her and listening to her wisdom, he also sort of came around to changing his outlook over the next few days as she was training him. She kind of gave him a little bit of insight into the elder gods. He even went so far as to actively seek out Dowreth and try to get some information from him, which led to him realizing that he didn't have to antagonize his friends the way he had been, that had been his choice, believing that he was supposed to be doing that. And so he really fell to feeling guilty for the way he had been acting and tried to redeem himself. He sold the artifacts of Dowreth that the party had been carrying, got a lot of money for them, and he also sold his cloak of deflection, the cloak that made it appear as though there were two of him. So having sold all these artifacts and getting a ton of money, he turned over most of the money to Ysmyr and told her to furnish the party with it. He kept a goodly portion of that himself to buy an apology for Yaereene, and I'll let Yaereene talk about what he got for her part of the recap. But he then went on to apologize to the entire party, telling them that he was sorry for how he behaved and how he wanted to make it up to them. And even though he still had to serve Dowreth, he wasn't going to try and hurt them anymore. He and Yaereene had a brief moment of reconciliation. I'll again let Yaereene speak more to that maybe. But he then basically spent the rest of his time training for the most part. He and Rhodes did get into a little fracas when Rhodes came home one day, and Tempest decided that Rhodes needed cheering up and support, and Rhodes didn't want to have any part of it, but I'll let Rhodes touch on that recap. He admitted to Ysmyr that Dowreth stole his ring. Ysmyr made him buy another ring of warming so that he can safely travel in the cold winter climate. And finally, he did a little bit of fact finding. He rented a cart and horses so that the party would have a cart. He went to the Wanderers Guild, and they confirmed that they didn't know anything about his father. But he did get a little bit of interesting information about the route to the Kale Island. Beg pardon if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but to the Elven fortress that we're seeking to find. And as he finished out his week training and basically doing anything that anybody else in the party would want him to, he sort of came to a spiritual awakening, was allowed to move back to a neutral alignment, and gained the feat blind fighting style. So now he can fight while blind. All of his training paid off, and he's ready to get on the road with you guys.
So that was a lot.
Recap. I love it.
It was a really good recap. I hate having to follow that.
Sorry.
As you know, from Tempest's recital of his deeds, Yaereene was very much guarding him because she was concerned about Tempest, both as a threat to her and the party as well as for Tempest. So yes, she did foil one escape attempt. However, he did escape the next day. She did also follow him to discover what was going on there, and found enough to at least know that it seemed to be, even though he was coming back beaten and bruised, it did not appear to be in a way that was causing major conflict in the city or danger. And Ysmyr also reinforced that with her. So then she went and tried to talk to both the wizards and the priests about finding out more about the Stormlord. She didn't find out as much as she would have liked in that situation. Apparently, Stormlord there's not as much information here of the nature that she was looking for. So she also visited the shops. So we did some shopping, all exciting things. Sorry, I'm going through all my whole list because I've got chats everywhere. She did dream a lot of the Stormlord over time, and she's probably not sharing most of that with the group at the moment. She felt a little lost in the city, and because everybody kind of scattered to the four winds, and she doesn't talk to people terribly easily. And so she ended up hanging out again in the training area, spending quite a bit of time with the elves there with her bow. And they taught her a few things. So she has actually, over the course of this time, gained elven accuracy. Partway through that training, there was a surprise talk with Tempest. And Tempest actually apologizes. And I'm just finding it because it was excellent. So he apologized, and it was very genuine and heartfelt. And he also handed her some weird paper, which honestly she didn't even take a look at until the next day because she was just on cloud nine because there was no conflict between them. Well, at least not direct conflict. They still have very different goals in terms of the gods, but fundamentally less direct conflict. So she was on cloud nine. And when she came out of the room the next day, she was still on cloud nine. And it wasn't until she got back to her own room that she discovered that the strange piece of paper that she hadn't really looked at is in fact a scroll of wish, which she's a little bit stunned by and not quite sure what she will do with. She also, by around day 12, had a discussion with Ysmyr about one of her dreams, which means, I think, to stop the undead, we may need to gather a lot of people. And as everyone knows, she's not so talky. So finding a way to convince lots of people to stay together to fight the undead, she went to the first person she knew who could talk to people and talk to Ysmyr about it. Then when we all left Tezalora, on day 18, she got a sending from Rhodes saying that where she was had fallen and that we should hunt a lot, and they were on their way to us. So I think that's Ryan. Have I missed anything major?
I just want to clarify one thing for people listening, is that they were in Tezalora for 2 weeks. So on day 14, they left the city. So day 18, it's a 7-day journey to Aliston. So they're a little more than halfway there at that point when you got that sending.
Okay. Anything else that I should add?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And now we're still missing Tiara, who's running a little late today. So we will jump to Ysmyr.
Okay, so Ysmyr was pretty busy. One of the first things she did when getting to Thezalora was finding out who city leadership or anyone she could talk to, just to make sure that they were updated about what was going on outside of Thezalora, things that were going wrong, and maybe even find some people who could help her figure out the Kalayalan stuff, because we've been going. We knew we had to. She knew she had to find it. She just has no idea where or anything about the place. With that, she was able to meet Fond Clear Eyes, the city councilor of the Mystic Quadrant. And with Fond, she was able to find information about Kalayalan and how we are going to need either royal or Fey bloodline to possibly even get in the stronghold. She was able to. Fond was also very curious about Ysmyr's pact and convinced Ysmyr to break her pact with Garlixel. So, eventually Ysmyr did that, and one of the days Ysmyr went and did that, and then she was able to make a new pact with a celestial named Zephyra. Ysmyr was also able to learn about ley lines and how they can be a source of power to tap into. And she learned that there's a big one stretching through the north, basically in a straight line from Nordgard all the way to Kalayalan. And then also with Fond and like the other people in the Mystic Quadrant, she spent time learning about the ley lines, how to harness them. So now she can tap into those, although it's not the easiest thing to do. And she also took a lot of time to learn more governance work, working more directly with Fond and eventually Shandar, another one of the city councilors. So there was all that, and then the pact breaking and a new one made, learning about Kalayalan. Also, during the first few days, Ysmyr started scrying a lot of people, just to try and check in, make sure those we cared about were alive, and to get a general idea of what we had left behind. One of her scries was on Councillor Yaereene. Summary of what she saw was basically he was still alive in Nordgard, under guard by some orcs, and he was being forced to bring the dead to undead in the city and direct them to head in a direction, although she couldn't tell where. So he's not happy, but clearly has a usefulness. So he's still going. She scryed Yaereene's parents. Most she was able to get was that they were cramped and unhappy in a carriage, but they were alive. She checked on Gerald and his group, since they were supposedly, last she had heard they were protecting the city. And she was able to figure out that they were heading south, protecting the survivors, and that they all basically looked like crap. They were tired, worried about pursuit, but they were able to move. She was able to figure out there was one more city councilor from Nordgard left, Janelle Woodsworth, who was also helping lead the people. She scryed Prince Bartimus just to get an idea of where everyone was. And basically when she scryed him, she just saw him standing in a tower or looking at a city under terrible undead siege. So the outlook there wasn't looking very pleasant. But so far, it seemed like everyone was at least holding on. She scryed Harris, Tempest's mom, and was quickly able to discern she was enjoying the pleasures of the city. Ysmyr scryed her own mom and was able to determine that Tir Narleth and some of the older dragons that were with her were flying around, scouting and watching for dangers. And then one of the last things she scryed, she decided to scry the leader of the Flesh Takers, Kol Murtak. And when she scryed him, she was able to see him in the council chamber in Nordgard pacing around. And while she was pretty sure she hadn't been spotted by him, at one point he let out a yell and swung his weapon around until she heard a voice telling him to look through its eyes. And once it did that, he zeroed in on her scrying sensor and was actually able to hit it once, giving her a little bit of damage. But Ysmyr held on to the scry, and then he hit again, and he was actually able to make a crit hit. So Ysmyr took like 30-something points of damage. So the next day, and dropped the scry, and the next day she felt and looked pretty bad, and let the others know what she had seen. Following that, I guess I should go back to the beginning a bit. When Tempest was first disappearing from his room and then coming back looking all bruised and bloodied, Ysmyr was trying to figure out why. And he wouldn't tell her until she promised to listen to Rhodes and take a day off. So she made the promise, and Tempest let her know that basically he was learning blind fighting from a new mentor. But with that, of course, Ysmyr had now made a promise to take a day off with Rhodes, and she dodged it for as long as she could, but eventually Rhodes basically cornered her by camping outside her door and was like, nope, you are taking a day off. And with that, they went and basically spent a day in Thezalora, getting food, doing activities together, just having a day where no one had to think. At least that was the goal. And then from there, next day, she wound up I think it was the next day, can be corrected, but basically next day she had to go and break Rhodes out of jail. Maybe it was the day after.
I think it was the day after.
Okay. So then there was a day buffer, and then the day after that, so we had the day Rhodes was being very moody. Day after that is the day she found out that he was in jail, and she went and posted his bail but the condition was there were two ways she could do it. She could either pay the main bail, but he would be kept in the jail until we left the city, or she could post more and he would be released outside the city. And she went for that. So she got Rhodes out of jail and saw him off. And then from there, it was, since she couldn't do much else, it was back to studying, although occasionally she would get sendings from him of updates, and occasionally would also scry because she was worried. And yeah, from there it was also things like, as Yaereene mentioned, she brought up how she had a dream where we needed to get all the cities banding together. So Ysmyr brought that up to Fond before we left, and I'm trying to think of anything else I'm forgetting, but I can't think of too much. So.
All right. Then last but not least, we have Rhodes.
This isn't going to take very long. I've got like nothing to say.
Lies.
So Rhodes had initially started the first couple days in Thezalora lying low, just kind of enjoying being back in familiar territory, especially in light of everything that had happened both in Nordgard and their travels up north here. So it was kind of nice for Rhodes to be back in, as I mentioned, back in his own stomping grounds, in a place that he understood and knew. So as Romy mentioned, Rhodes did convince Ysmyr to take a day off and spend it with him, in which he took her to a spa to get a massage. He is very cheap, so it was a couple's massage. And then some time in a steam room session to kick off the morning. He then took her sightseeing all around Tazalora and his old haunts, in which they came across a lovely elven lass named Bella, who was bearing a dark-haired 2-year-old toddler, declaring that the child was Rhodes. Shell-shocked, but unwilling to let that get in the way of his forced day of Ysmyr's relaxation, they got a bite to eat. Rhodes then took her dancing at a favorite tavern, and then they watched a sunset together on his favorite perch in the city. Like a good boy, he delivered Ysmyr back to the inn and saw her to her room. Bright and early the next morning, with thoughts of Bella in his head, Rose went to Bella's residence to discover that her and other 2 women were already gathered there with 3 children, all under 2, all of them claiming parentage to Rhodes. They then tried to extort him for money to cover the grievances of raising his children in his absence, in which Rhodes happily surrendered what was left of the 300 gold pieces, or I guess what was left of it after he had spent money on Ysmyr, over to the woman. He insisted that he had intentions to stay in Tazalora to be a part of these children's lives and make amends, but he was quite fitfully threatened. Now, we all know Rhodes, not responding well to the threat, committed to a brawl he could not win, and was very quickly chased off, or I guess very thoroughly chased off. In his anger and emotion, Rhodes then sought out his mentor Elamaris at the Temple of Corellon to ask why he was never told of these children, and was informed that the mother had signed a contract to not approach him, which she had thus breached. There was also a fine discussed, in which Rhodes had wanted to ask the total amount with the intention of finding the funds to pay for it, but Elamaris would not disclose that amount to Rhodes, which started a whole other argument in which it was declared that Rhodes had turned his back on Corellon in favor of another god, or couple gods as the story goes. He then, in his emotion, started escalating. He did accuse Elamaris of. How did all that go? He basically accused Elamaris of being a fool for continuing to pray to a god that cannot answer him. He told Elamaris that Corellon couldn't answer him because Sharo and Dowreth had seen to that. And as the argument escalated, he then declared that Tazalora would basically sit on its own heels and allow its own defenses to protect itself, and that they would not lift a finger to help anyone else, including Elistan. And they would happily let Elistan burn to the ground if it meant they didn't have to do anything. He then spit at Elamaris and left in a rage, and that is where the other players would have seen Rhodes storm back to the inn and slam the door, in which there was then an altercation with Tempus. Bless Tempest's heart, trying to be the good friend that he is, ended up pushing a few too many buttons with Rhodes, in which Rhodes then started taking swings at Tempest, and they had a brawl, which Ysmyr had to break up, and then Rhodes stormed off to be on his own. Ysmyr then later found him. They had a brief conversation in which it was clearly evident that Rhodes was troubled, but Rhodes, being the secretive person that he is, would say nothing, and so Ysmyr left him to his evening on the roof. The next day, bright and early, Rhodes then returned to Bella's mansion and was met with the family guards. He informed publicly and very loudly, with the same energy that what's the word I'm looking for? The same energy that a turned down man stands at the front lawn of a girl's house with a boombox playing on his shoulder, started to declare that the family would be fined because they broke their contract with the church. And he also happened to mention that all of the families would be fined, because he had not realized that not all of them had not signed this contract. So as he was yelling loudly about these threats that would be turned upon them by the Temple of Corellon, Elamaris also conveniently arrived, to discover Rhodes had fathered more than one child. Another argument ensued between Rhodes and Elamaris, in which Rhodes obviously thought his best option was to take a swing at the priest of Corellon, which ensued another fight, which also involved the family guards and the city guards, and Rhodes was quite abruptly placed under arrest and hauled to be interned. There was a brief conversation with Ysmyr where she posted his bail, and it was declared that Rhodes would be turned out of the city with his items, which Ysmyr graciously brought to him without Without hesitation, Rhodes then started off to Eliston. He met a quite interesting individual who single-handedly ripped to shreds a horde of undead. This individual introduced himself as the Thesnorn. They spoke briefly about a prophecy that Rhodes had no familiarity with whatsoever, and so Rhodes thought his best option was to send a message to Ysmyr, trusting her to relay to the group and to whoever needed to hear it that undead were approaching Tazalora, and then he then pursued his journey to Eliston. Now, Rhodes did cut 7 days of travel down to 6 to make it to Eliston, and came upon the city making defenses as they were already under siege by undead. Rhodes did a scan of the city, found out what he could, offered tips and advice where he could before going off in search of his mother and his childhood home. They then endured a very tear-filled reunion. They were allowed one evening of normalcy in which they recounted old memories and caught up on new ones. I believe, if I remember correctly, Rhodes had roughly just under 24 hours to get into Eliston, make his reunions and get settled. And then Eliston came under attack and managed to stand until, I believe, day 17 of downtime, where they were attacked in the night and overrun. Rhodes and others declared a retreat, and the dragons, the silver dragons, which Rhodes had sent a sending to requesting aid, arrived in time to seal the city and cut off pursuit, in which Rhodes and the remaining survivors began the trek back to Tazalora, weary and disheartened. Rhodes encouraged clerics without magic to switch to Tempest, and also encouraged a new rise of clerics and paladins, declaring that even any first level healing spell was still a spell they didn't have before. And thus, as Ryan so aptly put it, Father Rhodes led his flock on a pilgrimage of survival to seek refuge from Tazalora. As to what exactly happened in the days in Tazalora, I will let that be a in-game thing.
Okay. Thank you very much for the update. And KTR is here now. So, KTR, you can go last. You're currently muted.
I don't think I've ever been in a city that's been more pleasant and more appreciative of my skills ever. Once I found out that Tempest's bruises were actually a result of him going for his training and such, I was relieved, and I focused on trying to do what I could inside the city to assist the group. So I looked about the market, identified the merchants that were of most use to us, and where they went and where they partook. And then I became a resident bard for 2 weeks at the Snowy Owl, which is where they all went to. And through that, and through my association with the owner of the establishment, I found ties that got us great discounts at 2 of the shops. I also, surprisingly enough, actually, I found a very devoted fan base that were following me about to the point that it was almost annoying. Taking advantage of everything that I had, I also managed to get myself a booking for a party. And the reaction to me at the party was well enough that I was actually to perform for the city council at a private affair. Talking to the city council, I found almost a blind devotion to what they consider their saving grace, shall I say. An object, it's a thing that they would call, looking for it.
The Thesnorn.
Yes. Thank you. The Thesnord. A blind belief that the Thesnord was all they needed to do and worry about. I did catch, though, that one of the counselors, the person that was at Amasia, who was in charge of one of the quarters of the soldiers, wasn't so sure. And so I had a chance to meet with him talk with them, and they invited me to a private conversation at their basically their headquarters. And there I found that even though I was trying to get them to look at possibly looking for support from the orcs as another living race against the undead, they were having none of it. As far as they're concerned, the orcs here are just bloody savages that have no brains and nothing else to deal with. And I was warning against, like, get them on your side, get them inside the city so they don't end up adding to the forces of the undead coming. Still, nothing. However, they would welcome any refugees from any of the other cities that they consider civilized. So that was something. Then, other than that, me doing some more trading and sharing some money with Yaereene from what I could do to help, that's about all that I could do. I mean, I was trying to find out what was going on with Rhodes, but it was like banging my head against a wall. There was no whispers, there was no rumors, there was nothing. So here and her, but I'm just a little astounded. Some of it didn't leak. But that's it for me.
Okay. So, is there anything that anybody wants to add at this time, or are we good to continue?
I will add that during our initial couple days of travel, the groups, excluding Rhodes, since he was already gone, saw one gigantic dragon fly overhead. We laid low. Didn't want to draw its attention to us, but we could see it heading towards Thessalora. And then I think it was a couple days later, we saw a couple silvers, Medhir Narles, so Ysmyr's mom, and one of the others flying in pursuit. We flagged them down and they let us know they were looking for it. It turns out that giant dragon was Ysmyr's great-grandfather, but it's likely he is now undead and a cause for concern. And that was further pushing everyone to, or at least most of us, to hurry to Elliston to make sure everything was okay.
I'm very upset that you missed the part where Ysmyr scried Rhodes and saw him washing the dishes.
Oh, yeah. So out of concern, at one point, Ysmyr was like, I'm going to check on Rhodes again. And yeah, in very much the way she caught Harris in a moment, she caught Rhodes just washing the dishes.
Yeah, I was really happy with how that turned out.
Oh, that was so good. The timing was perfect.
Okay.
And,
go ahead.
And
because we're both being blushing children about it.
Go for it.
One last thing to share is, yes, Rhodes, like a good boy, did take Ysmyr to her room after the day they spent together. But I believe Romy has an image to share of how the rest of their evening proceeded.
Ooh.
You're not going to throw the second one down?
Yeah, I have to now.
Say what?
He got her to relax, okay?
Whoa.
So out of hilarity, I don't know if you guys remember a roll that both Romy and I did on Sunday last week, where Ysmyr graciously rolled a 14 and Rhodes very unfortunately rolled a 1.
That goes around.
I swear, this never happens.
I believe that was said then too.
Probably. Well, that's an interesting turn of events that I didn't even know about.
Okay, we have been sitting on that for literally weeks. We haven't said anything to anyone.
That is astounding.
So yeah, they hooked up one day and then he got kicked out of the city. So there you go.
After finding out he's a baby daddy times 3.
Are they correlating these events to them getting kicked out of the city?
Nope.
I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Romy, you're an incredible artist.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously, that's amazing.
Oh, they look so good.
Would it be okay if I shared these images in the video when I make it?
That means everyone will know what the two of you have been up to.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me add a little signature to them.
Sure, no problem.
But yeah, so day off. That happened during the day off, and then life has been what it has been.
And like I didn't hit it in my recap, but at one point Tempest asked Ysmyr point blank if she liked Rhodes, and she just was like, "It's not that simple, Tempest." So, like he agreed that he wasn't going to keep like trying to push her at him, but you coy liar.
I would say she simplified things.
Do you know how difficult it has been to keep our mouths shut?
Sorry.
That's too good.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, I'm not even going to say I'm sorry because I'm not.
You guys rock. Okay, we're through the recaps, but it's about time for me to give baby her bath and help put her down. So I'll be gone 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. Be back soon.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Okay. So with all the recaps done, it is day 19 when the majority of the party on the road. It's been a day since you got Rhodes Ascending. You will have spent time hunting and preparing as requested, and have a fair bit of food on hand when you see the first refugees coming down the road from Elistan.
I assume odds are good that Yaereene has noticed them.
Yep.
Yeah, she'll go get Romy. She'll go get Ysmyr so that somebody can greet them.
Okay, it's near the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess, yeah, with that, Ysmyr will go to the first people with Yaereene and give him a greeting of basically a quick, I am Ysmyr, my friends and I are here. We're warned that you were coming. We don't have much, but we have a place where you can rest. Please go this way. And she'll start, getting them to go that way.
Okay.
And while she's doing it, she's keeping an eye out for familiar faces, for Rhodes, for I know some of the dragons were there, so keeping an eye for them. Anyone familiar that, or maybe in a leadership position where it's like, hey, this is what we're doing, just go this way for the night, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Basically, I'm waiting for as many people to gather. Then I will start playing and use my Song of Rest to boost anybody's health, trying to regain it.
Okay. So there are several hundred people coming down the road in a long, long column. Ysmyr, you do see some dragonborn half dragons. Zothier is circling overhead at the front of the column, and way, way far away, you can see another silver dragon, Karsanth, kind of flying at the rear of the column. And they're just circling around, keeping an eye out for trouble. So once they approach your group, Zothier goes and flies back to Karsanth to shore up the defenses at the end of the column.
Okay, she'll be doing things like, if there's, like you said, dragonborn, she'll greet them in Draconic, let them know what's going on. Elves, Elvish, that's about all she knows. But, trying to be like, hey, we're friendly and here to help. Just go over here, take a break. And she'll probably, as she's doing this, be kind of walking opposite. Like if the crowd's going one way, she's going the opposite direction. Still repeating that, but also since it doesn't look like Rhodes is at the front of the column, she's starting to the back.
Okay. So you make your way towards the back, and it's just a really long line of people, most of them bearing arms and just looking defeated. They're all exhausted from their travels, upset about losing their homes and family and friends. And at the very end of the column, you do see Rhodes.
Oh, Thank the gods. And then she's just basically going to book it.
Yaereene will be following her. She doesn't want to be left alone with all these strangers.
Okay. Yeah. There's no problem meeting up with Rhodes at the end.
I'm oblivious because I have no idea what's going on, other than I'm
Yeah.
glad to see Rhodes, and I just want to keep playing the Song of Rest, moving and trying to spread as much healing as possible.
Yeah, you're nowhere near where Ysmyr is right now.
So I imagine, Rhodes was bringing up the back. He's probably looking fairly travel worn. Considering he probably would have been expending himself, offering healing and all that stuff, and trying to console people in the journey. I am willing to take like a couple points of exhaustion in light of everything. That being said, unless you would like me to roll perception, I am also willing to say that he's just so tired and is keeping an eye out on everything else that he does not notice that people are running towards him till the last moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. You've been mentioning that you've been looking back a lot, making sure that there's no pursuit.
So with that in mind, basically Ysmyr's going to run up and he's going to get hug-glomped like a, don't ever scare me like that again.
And so he's going to stumble back a couple steps and like kind of right himself and catch her and just be like, Ysmyr?
Well, yes. And are you okay? Like she's like starting to like check, be like, are you okay?
In spite of all the energy he's been greeted with, he just like his shoulders just sink. Like he's been bearing the weight of this entire group of evacuees, and he just looks at like from Ysmyr to Yaereene, and then like he just all of him just deflates in that one moment, and he's like, "I'm so happy to see you.
We're glad you're okay."
You got the sending. Everything's ready for them, right?"
Yeah, we got lots of food.
As much as we could do.
Thank you. I don't know what else to say.
Are you being followed?
Not that I can tell. Between what we can rally for a fighting force and the dragons that have accompanied us, we've been fairly safe. I'm assuming that's the case, Ryan.
Yep.
Well, let's get everyone settled. And well, you look like you've been to hell and back, so let's get you settled too.
After I've had a chance to make my rounds and see to everyone, have you had a chance to speak with anyone in Tazalora? Do they know we're coming?
Sorry, this is where I can't remember. No, we let them know. That's something we forgot in the recap. When we got the initial warning that Elliston was under siege, I believe Tempus and Yaereene ran back because we were out as half a day out of the city by then.
Yes.
So they ran back to Tazalora and gave the warning. But so with that in mind, Ysmyr will address Rhodes again and just be like, we got your initial message when we were about half a day out of the city, so Tempest and Yaereene went back to let them know. So hopefully they'll be expecting everyone.
Does anyone need healing?
How are we on that front, Ryan? I'm assuming like at this point it would just be like if anyone needs healing, it would just be like from travel weariness or the accidents that can happen during travel, correct?
Yeah, at this point, nobody's injured. There have been several clerics who have converted to Tempest, and so they have a full spell slots and have been helping to heal people on the road. There have also been several new converts, adding to a rank of paladins and clerics to Tempest. So they don't have a lot of power yet, but it's been enough to ease the burdens of those traveling.
So Rhodes will just he'll probably kind of give them that explanation in a nutshell and just let them know, like, no, we have between the clerics that still live and the ones we have recruited, we've been managing all right. I would like to do a round. Yaereene, any help you can offer would be great, just to make sure that everyone has been okay for the day.
Yeah, I'll help where I can.
We'll get everyone settled and taken care of.
And so he'll nod, and then I'm assuming before either Yaereene or Ysmyr can depart, he will pull them both into this just tight hug, and not in like it's that kind of hug that like he needs it more than they do.
Yep.
And then he'll let
He'll
them
get hugged back.
Yeah.
and then he'll let them go and just start wearily making his rounds to offer what healing he has, or just also check in on people.
Yaereene will follow, and she won't jump in. She'll take Rhodes' lead on anything, but any healing that he wants to do that she's got, she will cheerfully do.
Okay.
And I think just seeing how rattled Rhodes is, Ysmyr's going to linger around. Like if someone has to speak up, she's willing to step in, that sort of thing.
When Rhodes finally comes close enough that I notice, I just call out, "Well met. You've done a good job taking care of what looks to have been a shit show."
Rhodes will offer Kaitiara a smile that just does not touch anything but his mouth. But by the time he reaches Kaitiara, he's just also wordlessly going to give Kaitiara a very similar kind of hug.
Ugh. You do realize that I'm trying to play here. And yes, I missed you too.
You can keep playing. It's so good to see all of you well.
I don't think you know how much we worried. And it's a relief to us all to see you as well. And I wink at him and take a deep breath and continue walking slowly, playing, and trying to do my Song of Rest.
As the group of refugees settles in and splits the food that's there among themselves, Yaereene, you note that Tempus has been gone most of the day. He's been bringing back more and more food, but even with the food that you guys have gathered, it's not really enough for everybody. There's just too many mouths to feed. But it certainly does help them, and some of them are carrying food still from Elistan, so they haven't been going out without completely, but they're certainly not well fed at this point.
As soon as Rhodes doesn't need me, Yaereene will also start helping look for food today as well.
Okay, and Ysmyr, Zothir, and Karsanth land with you, and you see that Sealsronkth has the other wormling has also been with them. You're kind of keeping a low profile, but does come up with them when they see you.
Okay. She'll approach and basically just ask if they are well and if they've noticed anything during their patrol.
They have noticed they are well. They've noticed that there are few animals in the area closer to Alistan. So they have the feeling that the undead have been through the area and crossed over this road at some point, because there's just not much in the way of signs of life on the way. They mention that Maddie and Gratame flew on to Tesalora.
We saw them fly overhead. I can't remember. Did Maddie mention Audranth was missing then?
No,
Okay, I'm getting stuff mixed up then.
I don't think so. Maybe she did.
I think the only one who knows that is Rhodes.
Yeah, I know she mentioned it to Rhodes.
Okay, we were getting details all over the place, so wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, that's fair. There was a lot of messages flying around between sessions.
Okay, so undead are around. Hopefully, we hear from Maddie here and everyone sooner than later. But I haven't seen anything coming from Thessalora, so that's a plus.
Now, just a quick question. Have Rhodes and Ysmyr been sticking fairly close that Rhodes also hears this conversation?
That's up to you. Ysmyr did say that she went to approach the dragons, so if you're sticking with her, that's fine.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just assume that Rhodes had kind of approached with her, because if they were scouting, that's probably something he's interested in hearing as well. And so he's probably going to pipe up and just be like, in the last evening, and even the evening with that the giant dragon that landed in the middle of the city, there were so many of the undead were just wildlife and monsters in the area. They're not just infecting people, they're infecting anything living.
Right. Well, while we were in Thessalora, I learned of something called a Thesnorn, which might help take care of that bit for now. But I guess if we're getting the refugees to Thessalora, we can bring it up and let them know that there's more spreading. We'll have to just keep our guard up around camp for these things too.
The Thesnorn is one being. I don't see how he could protect all of Tazalora. And there's like a little bit of bitterness in Rhodes' voice as he says this.
No, I don't like it either. Which is why I want to at least get everyone there, because an entire city evacuated really drives home a point that really you need to take it seriously. I was trying to drive that home with some of the counselors, and hopefully they listen.
We've always took it seriously. It's the council that doesn't have a damn idea and are just fixated on that stupid Therian or whatever it is.
Well, talking with Fond, she seemed willing to listen. So hopefully with everyone's testimonies of what happened and what they saw, we can drive home more. But right now, knowing that it's more than just undead coming from the south, it's animals and creatures already around here. We need to get these people somewhere. We need to focus on getting everyone safe.
All right, I'll play devil's advocate. If we point them towards the city and we keep heading towards our goal, isn't that giving everyone a better chance?
I think we need to run. We need to take the people and run till we can get all the people.
I'm sorry, run where? Sorry.
I don't know. It's like I told you.
Direct them to Kalailin, you mean?
Okay, are there any of the silver dragons or the dragon
Ysmyr and Rhodes
half-dragons?
were having a conversation with them.
Like, do they have enough capacity to support this refugee group?
They are just two dragons, and they haven't seen anything that's been coming towards the refugees. But the column of refugees is so long that they can't protect the entire thing at once.
Oh, no. My question is like, if we direct them to Thezadora, which we came from, that city should be big enough to absorb them. If we head towards Rhodes' mom's city,
Rhodes' mom's city are these people.
Yeah, so Rhodes did go home to visit his mom. That was Elliston.
okay,
And there's no more.
All right, I'm confused.
What?
I'm getting confused between destinations here.
Okay, Elliston was going to be our goal. That's where Rhodes had gone while he was kicked out of Thessalora. But they were attacked by undead, and the refugees have been on the road, and those are the people we are setting up camp for right now as they're traveling back towards Thessalora.
All right.
Thessalora can take these people, but Yaereene has brought up the idea of us convincing everyone to go to Kalailin with us.
Okay, so it's Kalailin that's our ultimate goal.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Do we know whether or not Kalailin can afford or has the space or the capacity or the infrastructure to take care of all these poor people, or do we send them off to Thessalora?
We don't know anything about Kalailin. It's a lost stronghold.
If they all stand separately, they'll all just be overrun. We've got to get all the peoples in the same spot together, and Ysmyr can do it.
What I'm hearing is that these people should go to Tazalora and seek help, and they should, as one group of Elliston and Tazalora, continue on to Kalailin.
I think that makes more sense. If they go there, we can go ahead to Kalailin and check it out, essentially.
That makes sense.
We're only a handful of people. We can't single-handedly see them safe. If you convince Tazalora to also evacuate, that's a handful of mages and competent clerics if they would just find a god that is able to listen right now.
I'm just scared that the city council will poo-poo and tell everyone to stay there, and their boogeyman will scare the worst boogeyman, unless we're there to convince them as well. So if the idea is to get everybody in one spot and get everybody to follow to Kaloran, I fear we must stay with a group and bolster and boost their message.
We've got an entire city of people right here, of people who don't even have food. We can't expect them to walk weeks through the wilderness right now. I like Rhodes' idea of we get them to Thessalora to recover, to recoup.
That's
and
what I'm
then
saying. I'm
it
not
didn't sound
arguing.
like it, Katira.
I'm not arguing with them going there. I'm just saying we can't leave the journey to them alone. I fear that they get there, they tell their story, and the city council there won't listen and act. If we want to get both cities coming to Casalora, we need to go there and make sure the message is heard, understood, recognized, and plan and make the move. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
I told Fond before we left. I relayed Yaerene's stuff before we left. Now they're going to get a city of refugees who we can tell them, go here to recover and then follow to Kalailin if we want. And I bet you they will listen.
While you guys are having this discussion, Tempest returns to camp with an armload of various roots, root vegetables, and berries and greens and whatnot. Hands it out to the people there. So Tempest, this is the first time you're seeing this. There's several hundred people all kind of camped around the area of the road here.
And is my party readily visible? Is everybody back together?
Yeah, you can see them currently in discussions with a couple of silver dragons.
Well, I'm going to leave them to that. Scanning my eyes across the crowd of refugees, anybody interesting looking?
looking for daddy.
None of your business.
It's mostly humans, but you do see some draconic types of people. Although they, after eating, they are filtering over towards the two larger silver dragons as well.
Okay, I'm going to start just working my way through the crowd and quietly asking if anybody knows a guy by the name of Ernie Farstrider, explaining that he is a human male and that he used to have an affiliation with the Nordgars Explorers Guild, showing people my ring, and just, being reasonably gentle about it until I spot somebody that reacts.
Surprisingly, there are several people in the group who are wearing similar rings. Not exactly the same as yours, but the same effect. There are some soldiers in the group who belong to essentially the Explorers Guild of Eliston, and none of them have heard of Ernie Farstrider.
Does everybody seem on the level?
You can give me an insight check.
17.
You do get the sense that everybody's on the up and up here, like you're not sensing any deceptions or anything.
Well, that's frustrating. Okay, after that, I guess I'll just stoically shrug and work my way back to the group.
And you'll probably walk up to Ysmyr being like, okay, how about this? With the people here now, we start spreading the word that about Yaerene's dream, about everyone banding together in a new stronghold. We spread that word to these people with the idea that they go to Thessalora to recover. From there, those who want to listen to us can move north to Kalailin and meet us there. And hopefully, by then, we have people. Or we we've gotten there and we've gotten in. We
And
don't
made
even
it
know how to
safe.
get in and made it safe. Because we can't expect everyone to go with us right now when we don't even know what we're walking into. As far as we know, we have to drink the blood of a fey creature to get in. How are we going to do that with an entire city?
Yaereene looks pretty shocked by that.
Well, first you catch a fey creature, then I'll hold him down while you get the knife.
And a lot of buckets of water, because
Still
you don't
shocked.
need to drink it straight.
No. The jagged tusk drink blood all the time. It mixes way better with milk.
You're getting off the point.
I would just like to mention that, like, assuming Tempest is just in a very Tempest fashion, just wedged his way into the group, Rhodes is hanging back a bit. He's probably looking pretty embarrassed.
Well, Tempus, of course, being the insightful individual that he is ignoring that. So, yeah.
But I think, and anyway, I think that's our best bet is get the word out that we're getting everyone to Thessalora where they can recover. And hopefully, that, because I've already told Vaughn about Yaereene's dream. So the counselors are aware of it. And at least some of them are considering and willing to listen. So we have that already there. We have a city of people also coming and also hearing this. Whoever's going to follow us will then follow us later. But we can't expect thousands of people who haven't even eaten properly to just follow us now.
The reality of it is this far north, Thessalora and Eliston are the only cities for miles. It's the only civilization here. If Eliston has fallen, Thessalora is the next target. Undead are drawn to life. They're drawn to everything. Thessalora has to evacuate, but we have the liberty if we at least combine the resources of evacuating both cities together with some kind of organization so we can make it with the least amount of casualties.
Exactly. So they get there, we go make sure where they're going is safe. We just get the word out about it. We might be able to convince all of Eliston, especially right now. Thessalora hasn't had it smack them in the face yet.
So Rhodes might be a little cocky in saying this, but he'll look to Ysmyr and just go, Eliston will follow.
And she'll just kind of have a, like, you're sure kind of look, but then be like, okay, they'll follow. But again, that still leaves us having to convince Thessalora, which is why I'm kind of wondering if it would help to have the refugees go there, get all the talk going, and get people willing to come with us,
No matter how it slices down, the refugees have to go to Thessalora. They can't make this journey as is.
My question is, do we go with them or do we just go straight?
I don't think we have time to go with them if we want to make sure Kalailin is safe for them.
If anyone in Thessalora has half a goddamn brain in their thick skulls, this is enough evidence to convince them.
We can send messages with people. Get our message. We will send a message with the convoy, get it to the counselors, let them know what is happening, let them know, remind them of everything we've talked about, and we will continue on our way. And since we'll also spread the word throughout the people of Eliston, they will know they can follow.
You see KTR stand up.
Actually, oh, sorry.
And he looks around and he's like, they need to be heard. They need to be amplified. That city finds me someone of notice, somebody of interest. They listen at least to the song. I'll go with them to this city and I'll make their pain, the fall, the hurt, I'll amplify it with me song. I'll make them feel it. I'll make them know in their bones that they can't rely on their boogeyman. The boogeyman needs to leave the city with them and come to Kalora.
No.
Yes.
No. As someone who stood there and faced it down, no. Your place is with this group. If Thessalora will not be convinced by what they see from Eliston, then Thessalora is lost and good riddance to them. One bard who saw nothing will not mean the same as the hundreds of refugees who are now leaving their homes. Your place is with the group, Katiara. Your place is with us. Your place is with us going to Kalalin. Don't think that you can take their grievances. Their stories are best told from their own mouths. They were there.
Ysmyr's going to step up and just lightly put a hand on Rhodes' arm.
Probably a good decision for Rhodes.
And then she's going to look to Katiara. We do need you with the group, but I also think in a lot of ways you're right. Might I suggest you go through and encourage, spread what we want, that they need to get to Thessalora, recover, and head to Kalalin. Spread the reasons why to these people. They need a home. They're going to be looking for it. And then encourage them to tell their stories to convince Thessalora to listen. You are very good at that, Katiara. You are good with words. Encourage others to use them too.
I want to do more.
That is more. And
he just quietly looks down, and you see he started crying.
Sorry, I didn't hear that last bit.
Yeah, he started crying.
She'll give him a moment. Then Ysmyr is going to walk up and now set a hand on his shoulder to get him to look at her. We need you. Desperately need you. I think this is the way you can help both sides. Get the word out that there is hope. You're giving these people hope, and by encouraging them to tell their stories, you are giving them the strength to take them, own them, and push through them. That's what they need. And if Rhodes is sure that Elliston will follow, then look at that. We've saved a city. And just maybe all these voices that you encouraged will bring more in from Thessalora.
You see Katiara just do the old forearm swish against the eyes, and it's bitter to me, queen. Drops to a knee. I've heard, I'll obey, but it's hard. I'll do what I can, but I do honestly feel that if I'm there, I can do more to amplify. I will walk. I will give my song. I will encourage. I will give them a voice. I will try to give them something that will make a difference. But honestly, I feel I should be with them, but I hear and I obey.
I'm asking you to do this as a friend, Katiara. Your friends still need you too.
I need a queen to command, to make me do what my friend wants. Do you can you understand?
As always, Ysmyr's face looks a little tight when he keeps calling her a queen, but she'll just nod and just be like, then your queen just told you what she wants you to do.
He quietly nods, stands up, and then leaves the group behind and starts singing a song of how they need to make their pain known and how to make Thessalona realize the fall of Elliston will be the fall of Thessalon unless they do something.
Can you give me a performance check, please?
21.
You see the people looking to you, and as weary as they are, you see their faces firm up with resolve, and you get the sense that they are going to do everything in their power to convince the elves of the coming danger, and they will share their stories as much as it pains them.
KTR just keeps marching back and forth until he's exhausted and collapses.
Ysmyr, Zothier asks you if you want him and Karsanth to stay with you guys, or if they should fly on to Thessalora to look for Maddie and Gratame.
I think it's been really important to have you two helping keep an eye on the city as it moves, if you're still okay with that. I can also try and scry Maddie and Gratame to get an idea of how they're doing, if that would help.
They would accept that, yeah.
Okay, then that's later on. That's what she'll do. Is she will take some time to scry on Maddie and make sure things are okay.
Rhodes will also volunteer to relay any messages that need to be sent via sending, because I think he's the only one capable in the party of doing it.
Yes, you are.
So yes, he will also throw that down, that he will also be willing to relay a message to Maddie.
Okay. Today you wouldn't have any spells left, having used them to get people healed up and moving along. But in the morning, you would be able to do that.
Understandable. This is a tomorrow problem.
Yep.
Ysmyr will do the scrying tonight.
Okay. When you scry on Maddie, you see her and Gratame. They appear to be in the woods, and they're just holding each other. They're in their mortal forms, not dragon forms, and they're just holding each other and weeping softly.
Okay, let me just check something. She might take that and check on Thesalora while she's at it. So.
Okay. Is there anyone in particular that you're going to scry on in Thesalora, or a location that you want to look at?
I think if she can place a sensor kind of along the walls, or like somewhere she'd be familiar with, where she can get an idea, like if they're under attack, she knows, that sort of thing. Otherwise, it might be she focuses on like Fond, since Fond's the counselor she's most familiar with.
Okay. Do you want to place the group token on the map here where you would like to censor if you're doing the walls?
Where would the main gate be?
There's two main gates. There's one on the southern edge of the city. You can see the road. It's just the black line leading off into the white field, and there's also one up on the northwest section of the wall.
Okay, and the south is where most of the undead have been coming from?
The south and southeast, that area was
Okay.
where Rhodes saw most of the action with the Thesnorn.
Okay, and the undead dragon would have been flying kind of that way too?
It was flying from the northeast, because Eliston is northeast of Tessalora.
Oof. Okay, maybe she'll check the north gate then.
Okay. So you scry the north gate. You can see that there are elves stationed along the walls. They appear to be at a heightened level of alert, and you can see that they're scanning not only the forest but the skies as well.
Okay, so you can get a good enough idea that they've at least seen the dragon.
That would be
The
a
big one?
reasonable assumption.
Okay, from where she can see, does she see any damage or anything like that?
Not from where you are, no.
Okay, then with that, I guess she'll finish her scrying and she will let Sothir and Corsanth know that she was able to see Maddie and Gratame. They're not happy, but they're alive. They were upset. They were crying. So I'm going to assume that their pursuit of our grandfather was not good, because I checked on the city wall as well, and everyone's on alert and they're checking both the ground and the sky.
When you give them the news, Zothir and Karsanth both appear agitated and keep glancing to the south. You can tell that they really don't want to be there right now, that they want to go and find your mom. But if you're going to tell them they need to stay with the people, they will do it.
Please, she will be like, please stay with us for now. Let Rhodes message her in the morning. Hopefully we'll get more of an answer than just a brief image, and then we can figure it out from there.
Okay. They accept that and hunker down.
Okay, and since they're hunkering down, Katira's, doing his rounds through the people now. She'll make sure Yaereene and Tempest are okay, and then check on Rhodes and make sure he's doing okay. As okay as he can be.
I'm pretty sure Rhodes would probably be scouting through the number of refugees looking for someone in particular. Primarily, good old mama.
Yeah, you find your mom, and as usual, she's taking care of other people before herself, helping to bring food to people who haven't eaten yet. And she's got a toddler on her hip.
Would it be okay for Tempest to just have, without a word, casually followed Rhodes?
Yeah.
Okay. Tempest standing maybe 10 feet off, just sort of staring pointedly at you and making a big show of rolling up his sleeves and cracking and popping his knuckles and rolling his neck and such.
Assuming both Rhodes and his mother see this, Rhodes just takes a moment to assure his mother that everything is okay and it will be okay. And then he gives her a good hug, a kiss on the forehead, and then squares his shoulders and goes to meet Tempest.
Hey, you Rhodes. How's it going?
Walk a little further, if you would, please. And Rhodes is just going to gradually coax Tempest out of at least eyesight and earshot of his mother.
Why? Who's that pretty lady over there? She kind of bears a passing resemblance to you, don't she?
Tempest, walk.
No, I will not.
What do you want?
What do you think I want?
And because I'm assuming, and I never mentioned this in the recap or in our messages, Ryan, I'm assuming that Rhodes would have kept Tempest's letter on him. So when Tempest hits him with this question, he's gonna reach into his wherever a pocket would be on him and pull out this letter that is probably equally bloodstained and weary as he is, and just be like, Tempest, I'm sorry.
Sorry for what?
For everything I did in Tazalora. It was out of bounds, it was impractical, and it was an insult to all of you.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that apology is enough?
What do you want, Tempest?
I don't know. I seem to recall you smacking me around pretty good.
And Rhodes will probably actually give the most genuine laugh he's probably given in days and be like, is that what you want? Did you want to fight me?
Nope. I think I get one free punch in, or excuse me, I get one free blow, and we're equal.
And Rhodes will glance back towards his mother and the toddler and look back at Tempest and be like, fine, just not in front of my mother, please.
Do you think that you're in a position to dictate terms to me right now?
No, but I'm begging you. She's been through enough.
Nope, hard lessons are the best lessons. Kneel.
What?
For your blow. Kneel.
Rhodes is going to take a couple seconds to process that request. He will remain standing and just repeat, I'm sorry, what?
For when I hit you, get on your knees.
With all due respect, Tempest, I'd rather take it on my feet.
I'm going to show you the exact same respect you did to me when I offered to share some room service with you in manly silence. Now stop your carping and get on your knees.
With that reprimand, Rhodes will very grudgingly and with another glance back to see who is all looking, kneel before Tempest, very grudgingly.
And Tempest is going to unshoulder his halberd and just sort of start taking a few warm-up swings.
Rhodes
you
is
are
looking...
so fucking lucky I'm nowhere near this.
Rhodes will start looking nervous, and it's not because he's scared of anything Tempest will do to him. He's again glancing back towards where his mother is, and he's more worried about what she's gonna see, if she's gonna think he's in danger, that kind of thing.
She's a little busy with everybody else right now, so she hasn't really noticed what's going on with you.
Perfect. Rhodes is gonna hope it stays that way.
Well, Tempest is making a big production of it, like sort of like really just, hefting it, tossing it from palm to palm, just kind of like doing like a couple of like warm up swings, a couple of squats to really like, draw it out as much as he can. And then he's going to take a step up and he's just going to sort of, ever so gently just place the edge of his halberd against Rhodes's neck as if, he's sort of like aiming where he wants his chop to go. And you're like,
I'm gonna interrupt briefly.
please.
No, you can't have input. Just based on everything that's happened with Rhodes being in Elliston and the travel and the kind of reception Rhodes has seen, I'm very curious to see how the people surrounding them is taking this scene of like Tempest posturing a lot, Rhodes kneeling in front of him, and this halberd being placed against his neck.
Yeah. As Tempest places the halberd to your neck, you see many people coming forward, and they've all got hands on weapons. They're looking to Rhodes as a leader of the city at this point, given everything that they've been through together and Rhodes's heroics in Elliston. And they are looking to Rhodes to see if he needs backup at this point. But the fact that he seems to be going along with what Tempest is doing is the only thing giving them pause from skewering him alive.
Well, Tempest don't give a damn about what the crowd is. He suddenly, with like all ferocious speed, is going to completely wind up behind him, give a roar, and bring the axe down swiftly, only to pause at the last second and give Rhodes a little boop on the nose with the blunt end of it. And then he'll drop the halberd, kneel down with Rhodes, and say, "Don't go away again. We're better when we're together." And he'll give Rhodes a kneeling hug.
So I'm assuming Rhodes would have made like a kind of like placating gesture to all the onlookers. Because if nothing else, Rhodes knows he deserves this. When he gets just a gentle boop instead, you will see him visibly, like he flinches when Tempest swings, and at the boop, he visibly relaxes. And then at the hug, in spite of all the people looking, he will give Tempest a very similar hug that he has given everyone else. And I'm sure Tempest, without any kind of like insight, will feel that this hug is not for Tempest, it is for Rhodes.
Yeah, and then after like we stand up and embrace each other and clap each other on the shoulder, Tempest is going to look around at the crowd and is just going to say, "The fuck you looking at? Get back to being refugees."
And thus, the empathy of orcs is exemplified.
No kidding.
So good.
That is a grand 9 to intimidate the refugees.
Yeah, they're not terribly intimidated.
I'm gonna say, like, once, like, as Tempest has given that well-meaning threat, if his intimidation has not made any impact on the refugees, I'm sure Rhodes' smile will.
And yeah, that's it for Tempest. Basically, he'll just clap Rhodes on the shoulder and tell him to come find me before nighttime, because we got to go out into the woods with Katiara.
Yes, I was actually meaning to speak to Katiara before nightfall.
Oh,
Well, perfect. You can talk when we're in the woods.
This is a conversation I'd rather have with just Katiara.
Yeah, sure. The two of you can talk while we're in the woods, and I'll go off and give you some space.
No eavesdropping?
No.
All right. So then I assume Tempest and Rhodes together go and find Katiara.
like as I said, I kept playing until I passed out. Have I recovered enough to be awakened?
We about to wake you up, friend.
Okay.
Yeah, we're basically going to wake you up, and Tempest is going to say, "Quick, Katiara, we need you in the woods." And, if you sputter or protest or anything, we're just going to scoop you up and start marching out into the woods with you.
Sounds about right.
I just blink and I look and I'm like 3 guys and I just follow.
Do you have Ysmyr with you guys?
No, I do believe this is a man chat.
Excellent. I am having a woman chat then. Ysmyr. Text incoming.
Wow.
So good.
And I'm kind of following along, and I'm looking at the two of you, and I'm like, oh yeah, what is this something for guys, or is it something that you just want me in on? I'm kind of confused.
Well, we're going to go out into the woods to do some very important manly business, but Rhodes also wants to chat with you. So, first, you guys can have your chat, and then we're going to meet back here, after we've managed to find a couple of laurel branches, holly berries, and maybe a couple of pine twigs. But, go looking for those ingredients. Rhodes and Katiara, you have your secret talks, and we'll all meet back here.
We're doing druidic shit as well as me and Rhodes having a bro talk.
No, we're doing guy stuff while you have your bro talk.
Okay. And I just looked very confusedly at Rhodes.
So Rhodes is ever so gently just gonna wave Tempest off.
Remember, laurel twigs, holly berries, and a few evergreen boughs. And Tempest is taken off in the woods to look for those things.
So I feel like Rhodes is going to make a half-hearted effort to also look for those things, but as soon as he figures Tempest is out of earshot, he's going to turn to Katiara and grow very serious, and he's going to be like, "Look, I want to commission you for a song. I don't know how I'll pay you. Name your price. I will get it to you eventually, but I want to commission you."
Well, is it an epic? Is it, all right. Before I can tell you anything about cost, I'll tell you this: it's free.
And you'll see Rhodes' jaw tighten a bit. You'll see that ever faint glimmer of moisture in his eyes, and he'll just say,
Rhodes, look, get it through your thick, fucking, obtuse skull. You are my companion. You are someone I have fought with, someone I have bled with, someone I have healed, someone that has healed me. Money ain't a thing, alright?
"It's not for me.
I don't care. You want it. It's free.
Frankly, it has nothing to do with me. I want you to make a song for Elistan. I want you to tell Elistan's story. I want you to tell the story of all the people who fell protecting it."
Alright, I'm gonna go through some hard bits. You're gonna have to go through hard bits. Because if I tell it right, I have to tell every fucking horrible detail, right?
I
So
know.
you have to tell me who was brave, who was a fool, who fell. Did they fall courageously? Did they fall gloriously? Did they fall like a drop of rain?
And you'll see Rhodes takes a moment of silence. You'll see the words really sink in as Rhodes really thinks about them. It's probably very evident that Rhodes is reliving some memories, and he just says with complete conviction, without fail, they were all heroes. All of them. Every single one. And assuming there is no objection, Rhodes will probably tell Katiara the immersive story as he understands it and as he experienced it of Elistan. He will probably not mention anything that he did, but he will mention notable people like Nellie Snow and all of the clerics that supported her. He will try and mention as many people that he knew who passed. Like, Katiara is essentially going to get the entire emotional dumb Elistan in that moment.
I'll do my best. Can you sing with me?
I'm not a singer, Katiara. That's not who I am.
I'm not making a song that's difficult to sing. I'm making a song that's very easy to sing. It's not something for a virtuoso. What has happened here, what you saw, what happened, needs to be spoken by everyone, sung, whether or not they have a voice.
It's not my song, Katiara. It's theirs.
No, it's ours. It's all who have suffered, all to do better. That's the song. And want to try and do a performance.
Okay.
26.
Yep, that's impressive.
Man, I was watching that dice. It almost landed on the 20.
And I sing it, and I tell it, and I look, and I wait for Rhodes to join in.
I think Rhodes will. He obviously does not have the voice for it, but he is very driven by emotion. And I am assuming during the entire rendition, Rhodes will weep very openly throughout the whole process.
Performance check.
Oh boy.
I'll give assistance because I'm proficient.
I don't know if this works that way. I think you're providing the tune. You've played it very well, and it's up to Rhodes to follow your lead.
So just a regular roll?
Yeah.
You can do it, dude. You can do it.
Oh man, I'm going to be so disappointed if it's a 1. I swear this never happens. Oh no.
Yeah. You start singing the song and pretty much immediately break down. Given the context of the song and the fact that you lived through that horror, you just can't keep it together. It's KTR has done a beautiful job of creating this, and it really pulls at your heartstrings.
I just look over, hug her, and I sing louder. And I'm like, follow along. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to be you.
So Rhodes will participate to the best of his ability, but the best of his ability, as we have seen, is most likely openly weeping.
Yep.
Damn, I was hoping for something multiply there.
Man, I had so many good rolls on the downtime.
Well, I think this is a timely bad roll.
Yeah, if you're gonna roll bad, that's a good one.
Fair. I hope the next one's better.
Tempest, can you give me a survival check for gathering your art supplies? Jesus. Yeah, no problem there.
All right.
So Tempest is going to come back with an armload of all the different supplies that he told you guys to get, and I'm assuming that you guys are just kind of standing there unwinding from your song, and he's just going to kind of look at you and say, "Well, I guess I got enough for anyone anyway," and he's going to throw these different supplies at you, and he says, "Now it's time for some man stuff. We're going to sit out here in the woods and do arts and crafts."
You just see KTR look at him and kind of cock his head and arts and crafts.
You'll also see Rhodes hastily scrub his face to try and make it look like he didn't just spend the last however long it was sobbing his eyes out. But he'll leave the questioning up to Katiara.
Well, yeah. See, everybody grab some supplies here and we'll get started, and I'll tell you what it is that we're doing. And Tempus is going to show you all how to make little wreath crowns. We're going to try and roll the laurel branches together into sort of like a hoop shape. And by overlapping them and sort of wrapping them around themselves, it kind of creates the base of a round circle. And then you decorate them with the evergreen branches and the holly berries. And Tempest is going to tell you a delightful little story about this great orcish tradition. It was started by this orc by the name of Gore-Tusk Elfkiller, who, as the legends go, killed so many elves that the holly berries started to grow red. And he would always put together these wreaths and deliver them back to the war camp. And with Tempest shivving you along, we're going to make some little wreath crowns.
As a half-elf, I'm kind of like, really?
Yaereene will be like, we can make these, but there's undead everywhere, so we've got to keep paying attention to everything else too, okay?
Well, we're out of camp still, I think.
Oh,
so
good. So you guys do your own thing.
Nope.
I wasn't
not
sure if you
there
were
to
back yet.
intervene.
Common sense has no place in the guy's
My
party.
apologies. I thought you guys were back.
I just look at him and I'm like, so you want to make me make something celebrating the death of half my ancestors?
No, I want you to make a crown with me.
Rhodes is just so emotionally overwhelmed that he's just going to wordlessly go with it. He has learned a long time ago never to question Tempest, and he is abiding by that logic at this moment.
Oh, KTR has had enough episodes with Tempest. He questions. Tempest, I, th- I, th- I thought this was like to celebrate the death of an elf.
Well, I mean, that's maybe what it was used for, but, we're not going to do that now.
Hang on.
These are some shoddy crowns we're making.
Is that what those rolls were for?
I don't know what Richard rolled for, but that was my performance check to try and make a crown.
Okay, well,
My role was to see whether or not I'd go along or just keep bitching, and I rolled to go along.
Yay!
so what I'm going to do then for making crowns, you probably don't actually have to roll for this, but you can take the person in the group with the highest performance and roll with advantage as you're all working together to make these crowns.
KTR, we choose KTR.
I kind of figured, since he's got plus 12.
So that's 24.
Yeah, you make absolutely amazing crowns out of the materials that Tempest brought.
Am I also making an arts and crafts roll?
No, what I did was I just let KTR make the roll for the group. You're
Perfect.
all working together, making these things, and they look quite beautiful when you're done.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kitiara.
Well, there's some things I'm good at, and there's some things I'm bad at, and I'm just very glad that this Tempest quest was this easy.
And all of us will head back to camp with 1 crown each.
Okay. You guys come back to camp. You see Yaereene sitting cross-legged, doing her thing. Ysmyr, what are you up to?
I think Ysmyr was making a point of moving through everything, making sure everyone's at least, if not happy, at least settled, and keeping an eye on people.
Yeah, the refugees are quite tired, and there are some people who are staying up to keep watch around the outskirts of the group.
Yeah, that's perfect. Because I was going to say, Ysmyr was probably looking for people who could help with watch. So she couldn't find the guys. So
I'm sorry, we were busy making laurel crowns.
Yeah. So instead, she was making sure that there's adequate watch around everyone and that sort of thing.
Are there enough clerics, etc. that they... Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, Ysmyr, while you're making the rounds, Tempest's mom joins you because
Tempest's mom?
Tempest's mom?
Sorry.
That is quite a journey.
I was like, wow.
I do not need this complication.
Oh, and you weren't even here. You weren't even here when Ysmyr was talking about her scrying on Tempest's mom. That's unfortunate. Anyway, no, it's Rose's mom is making the rounds with you because she is one of the people from the city who has taken it upon herself to help as many people as she possibly can.
Okay. Would there have been any introductions? Because right now, Ysmyr doesn't know who this is. So.
She probably would have introduced herself, yes, because she wouldn't have recognized you as being somebody from the city. So she would have been curious about what you were doing there, and she would have seen that you guys were waiting there to greet everybody. So she just wants more information about all that sort of stuff.
I would also like to add in, I do believe we had discussed that Rhodes had told his mother stories of the campaign group, but I don't think Rhodes has ever divulged any information to the group about his personal life in that respect.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I guess while she's going through, Ysmyr will happily let Treya walk with her, not only because she's would she introduce herself as Rose's mom, or is that easy to get from, like, is there a last name given?
Yeah, there's a last name given, so it's easy to know.
Okay, then she will happily take her company, because like she knows a lot of the people, so if Ysmyr's like, hey, do you know anyone who might be up for volunteering for guard duty? Ask her for opinions. And then Ysmyr will also be asking like what happened. If she's willing to talk, like just get a general idea of what happened, and so that we can have ideas of what to keep an eye out for, that sort of thing. And if she has any questions, Ysmyr will answer them.
She'll tell you that several days ago now, undead started coming to Alisdon, and they mounted a defense and fended off the undead. She wasn't part of the fighting, but helped take care of people who were injured. She talks about how the zombie plague kind of spread through the town after the first attack, and they quickly learned that people who were injured needed to be dealt with either magically cured by clerics or watched over as they passed to see if they turned into zombies. She had been giving up hope when her son showed up at her door, and she talks rather glowingly about Rhodes and how she felt terrible that she was never going to see him again. But then he showed up, and they had time to catch up and talk about everything before the worst of the undead attacks came. She talks about a large dragon that crashed into the city hall and toppled buildings in the middle of the city while dropping off huge undead monsters. And she talks rather wistfully about a toddler that she rescued in that moment, and how she thought she was going to die when a huge zombie had been chasing her through the streets, but she had managed to lose it. And she, like, her perspective of it is all from the point of view of somebody who was helping the injured, and how every day they were losing more people, and it was she was certain the city was doomed and was going to fall, and they were all going to die. So she's very grateful to the silver dragons that came and flew over the city, wiping out the undead in droves and freezing the gates so that the undead trapped in the city couldn't easily chase them, and how exhausting it's been leaving the city, traveling down the road for a few days now, always worried that it's not over and the undead will overrun them at any moment.
Okay, I think Ysmyr will do her best to give assurances, but also point out that there was a lot of that sounds similar to what happened in Nordgard, so it's going to be very important that everyone stay vigilant, and that driving home that need to work together, so like Elisdon, Laura, the group, if they can find, if our journey north works, like everyone needs to start finding ways to, like I said, work together. But past that, she's going to focus on like the driving home look at how many people are still alive, that they're worth it, that they're working hard, and we're going to do our best to keep them safe.
She appreciates your efforts. Is very grateful. Given the numbers of undead that they've seen, and the fact that they had city walls in Aliston that helped protect them, you get the sense that she doesn't really think there's much that you can do if the undead do come. But she's still grateful that you're there, and that Tesalora is there, so they can find some shelter.
Find shelter, recover. Ysmyr will give the name, Fond and Shandar's names as council members she's spoken to, so they might be worth reaching out to. And yeah, go from there. Also around that, she'll, I think it'll probably come up that she'll mention meeting Rhodes in Nordgard and how much of a help he's been and all that stuff as well. So it's as hard as it was, it's good to see that he was able to help the people of Eliston as well.
She hangs on your every word when you're talking about Rhodes's participation in the group and how he's helped, and you can just see that she's so proud, and it's the first time that you see her smile.
So if anything, once the serious talk is done, Ysmyr will be trying to keep the smile going, keep the happy stuff. So if tidbits from the travels that are maybe a little funnier, that sort of thing.
She definitely appreciates that, and doesn't leave your side as you do make the rounds.
Okay, she'll just keep doing that for now until it's time to settle down.
Is it fair that the boys' crew would be arriving back at the camp around this time?
Yep.
And so as we approach the camp, Tempest will tell you, so Gore-Tusk Elfkiller, every time he made these wreaths and came back to his camp, would award them to the most beautiful woman that he valued the most. Typically his mother. And I guess the two of you just stand there in silence looking at Tempest because you're just done with his nonsense, huh?
At the very least, Rhodes is at least thinking. It'll probably show on his face that he is considering, because, obviously his mother is here, but obviously he might have other motivators.
Anyway, I call dibs on Yaereene.
I won't fight you on that one.
Probably for the best. Oh, look, there's Ysmyr. And I believe that lady there was your mother, Rhodes?
So in spite of all of his better judgment, Rhodes is going to lean over and, kind of nudge Kitiara with his elbow and just be like, that woman right there is Treya Chiroan. And he's going to, willfully say his last name in this moment and been like, she's been through a lot. She's done so much for everyone who's had to leave Eliston.
And Tempus is going to tell the two of you, in between, selling my soul to a dark god and coming to all kinds of spiritual awakenings, I've just sort of learned that while we can't always control the present, we still have to look forward to the future. Good speed, gentlemen. And he's going to head off to Yaereene, present her with the crown, and lay one on her.
And she will be surprised but delighted, and wonder where you've been.
And Tempest will regale her with the tale, but I'm more interested in what happens with Rhodes and Kitiara next.
Well, just 1 second. She will ask if you saw any undead out there.
Tempest will explain no. Why?
Because they're all around us, so I'm a little worried.
Tempest will narrow his eyes a little bit and will say, just a moment, please. And he'll close his eyes and cast inward and say, hey there, big cheese. Is there a bunch of undead surrounding us, preparing to attack?
Not that I'm aware of.
As in you're not aware of them being around, or you don't think they're going to attack us?
As I've explained, I see through the eyes of my followers, and within the range of sight of you, I see nothing.
Would they follow your power, your energy, an emanation of yourself?
Do you mean, would you have power over them?
No. What would happen if I took out the Dark Star?
Likely nothing.
Would they be drawn to an emanation of Shiro?
Unlikely.
Well, okay then. And Tempest will pop open his eyes and say, "Sorry, I don't really have anything to report to Yaereene. Do you want to go out hunting? Maybe use me as bait?"
I think it's just important that we keep watch from all directions. I'm trying to pay attention, but just maybe find some people who could maybe fight back if we got attacked.
I mean, I could do that. Or I could stay here and waggle my brow at you and flirt.
Oh.
And Tempest will waggle his brow at her.
And she will laugh and be a little distracted at the moment.
Sweet nothing. That's how our talk for the next 5 minutes is going to go.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to Rhodes and Tiara.
We do still have Tiara, right?
Uh-oh.
You son of a gun. No. I go through all this trouble to try and set Tiara up with Rhodes' mom, and he falls asleep on me.
Dare you!
The indignity! My plans all foiled.
Okay, quick, somebody call Richter!
Oh, man. I can't believe he fell asleep for that. I mean, I can believe it, but, you know.
We're about to get him a hot date! God damn it!
I'll try calling him, see if it wakes him up.
Should have clued in. He was stalking quieter and quieter.
Yeah, and I mean, it is 10:42 his time right now, but come on, Richard.
Oh gosh, I don't think I feel like I have laughed this hard at all of our previous sessions, but I don't know if I have laughed this hard at all of our previous sessions.
I think so, just for different reasons. It's the indignant, frustration for Jesse.
There have been a few. We get some good laughter in ours.
I didn't get an answer.
Oh no! So who does his laurel wreath go to?
Well, I think I'm going to have to make a judgment call on this and say that he will give it to Rhodes' mom.
He is rather gallant that way. He wouldn't just leave her hanging there.
Yeah, and after the convincing speech about who he should give it to because she's been working so hard to help everybody and so selfless and all that, I think he would go for that.
I mean, even if he did not give it to Rhodes' mom, I think Rhodes would relinquish his wreath so that he had one to give to his mother and one to give to Ysmyr.
Oh no, that goes against the whole theme of giving one wreath to one person, the most beautiful person there.
Excuse you, but I'm a child delinquent and I do what I want. In either case, I am assuming that through whatever will, Tiara's wreath goes to Rhodes' mother, in the spirit that Tempus has set, Rhodes will approach Ysmyr and quite gracefully make a huge show of bowing to her, lifting the wreath off of his head and presenting it to her and being like, Tempest seemed to think this was a good idea. It was something about killing elves, but let's not talk about that part.
Yeah, that's a little confusing. So I'm supposed to wear this?
And if Ysmyr will let him, Rhodes will take her arm and kind of lead her to where people who at least may not know them will not pay attention to their conversation.
Yeah, your mom allows you to head off with Ysmyr because she is quite taken with this tall, handsome half-elf with exotic blue hair who has just offered her a wreath and proclaimed her the most beautiful woman in the camp.
Ma'am, how could you?
Thank you all for obliging my fun.
You know, he's going to have so much fun listening to this video later.
Would he object, though, is the real question.
Doesn't matter. It's done now.
So yes, Rhodes will link arms with Ysmyr, He has presented her the laurel, but he hasn't fully handed it over, and he will lead her to where he is sure that no one who knows them and would take a vested interest in their conversation would pay attention to them.
Okay, you're going to have to actually leave the area then, because everybody there is rather enamored of Rhodes.
God damn it. All right, off to the bushes we go.
Do Tempest or Yaereene see them going to the bushes?
Make a roll.
Perception check. Yep.
No!
Tempest will just grin and continue sweet nothing at Yaereene.
So I'm assuming Rhodes is leading Ysmyr out of earshot of the general camp. Once they are out of eyeshot and earshot, he will then more appropriately place the wreath upon Ysmyr's head, because I am going to guess that is the intention.
I think so.
And she'll just laugh a bit and be like, okay, I don't know what this is for, but I'm assuming it looks all right.
And Rhodes will lean in and be like, I'll understand if you don't wear this by the time we get back to camp. And ignoring all the part about elven genocide, let's brush that aside. Tempest said something about presenting these wreaths to the most beautiful woman that you can think of. Now, obviously, I'm conflicted between you and my mother, but it appears my mother is otherwise occupied.
Oh, such a hard choice.
You don't understand my struggle, okay?
I mean, I spent a little time talking to her. I get it.
And he immediately sobers and he goes, what did you talk about?
I was making her laugh.
He does soften a bit for that. And he goes, thank you. I don't think any of you realize how much of a relief it is to see all of you again.
Well, if it's anything like even a touch of how it felt when we finally found you again, I can imagine. I was worried.
And Rhodes, being the impulsive individual he is, will most likely just lean in and lay one on Ysmyr.
Which she will not protest.
Well, at least they're out of earshot and eyeshot.
Yep. Although now seeing the screen, I don't like the look of that.
Oh my god!
So you guys are busy making out, and don't really notice that a swarm of undead snakes approaches.
Do we also get to roll for initiative?
You sure do. It's in the combat tracker is set up and ready to go.
Oh, good lord.
So this will be a surprise round.
Yeah, it's pretty
Attack by
surprising.
snakes while you're necking. Yeah.
These were not the snakes I expected.
Wah, wah.
The hell is all that?
A lot.
Rhodes, does a T1 hit?
If meets beats, then yes, it does.
Okay, so they hit you and deal the first piercing damage, which is 9, and then you make a Constitution saving throw DC 10. Okay,
I have
and
at least made the con throw.
yeah. So you take half the poison damage. So that's
So 9 plus
that's
7 is 16.
16, and then can you give me another con save, please?
Will do.
All right, you're fine. That's a surprise round, and new round starts, and they get to go first. And so a 22 will also hit. You're going to take 9 piercing damage and roll a con save for the poison.
God damn these snakes.
I am so sick of these
Oh,
gosh
no!
darn snakes on our gosh darn date.
So I will take that poison damage.
Yeah, that's another 22 damage. And can you give me another con save, please?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
How much more damage?
No more damage. Yep, no more damage.
Oh
That's
no.
ominous.
Well, you've just been bitten by undead.
All right, Tempest. You and Yaereene are muttering sweet nothings at each other. And I assume Rhodes is probably going to be calling out
You hear a, oh, hell no, from Ysmyr.
Yeah, it's not Rhodes that calls out.
Now, it technically hasn't been Rhodes' turn. Like, do I hear him yell out, or like, am I still in the middle of like, rubbing Yaerene's pointy ears or something?
That's a good question, because it was a surprise round and then their round. So it's probably just like he probably hasn't had a chance to call out yet. So I'm gonna say no. You're not really noticing anything other than you're saying what she said. Maybe, although she hasn't had a turn yet either. So no, you haven't heard anything.
But she could have seen Rhodes get bit the first time.
That's a surprise round, though. You don't get an action.
You may not even realize I've been bitten. I am the one who is surprised in this round, not you.
Yeah, no, I don't think Tempest is aware anything's going wrong. I think he is currently rubbing Yaerene's ears and just whispering like orcish sweet nothings like ma petit chaud de fleur, j'aime toi. And yeah, that's about it. And my turn.
Can I ask one dumb question?
Croissant fromage.
Did we give Rhodes that shield?
No! That's what was gonna happen. Part of what was going to happen, and it didn't happen yet.
Okay, that was just 2 things.
That is too good. That is so good.
Interrupting snakes.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's Ysmyr's turn. Ysmyr, you see these rotting snakes slithering all around Rhodes' feet and like climbing around his legs and biting at exposed spots.
Well, that's when she'll just be like, oh, hell no. And then I think, it's been a while since I looked at this stuff, and now she has new things. Just double checking. I don't think she's going to use her curse. So she is going to do her I think she'll do a booming blade on the snakes.
Okay.
Sorry, that won't have happened, so hold on. I keep clicking the wrong thing.
I see that. 15 hits.
Okay, do you want to use any of the damage before, or should I just re-roll that?
Yeah, I'll take that first roll.
So one-handed with her sword is an 8, plus the initial 1 thunder damage. And if they move, they get another one.
Okay, so they take half damage. So that's 4. And sorry, 1 thunder damage?
Yeah. Can I ask why it's half damage, or is that something we have to find out?
They have resistance to slashing weapons.
It's a magical weapon?
Doesn't matter.
Oof, okay.
The heck was that? Oh, I don't know why that happened. Just adjusted the hit points. Anything else?
And I guess since she can't cast a spell for her second thing, she has dual wielder now, so she'll swing her new sharpness at them.
Okay.
Apparently it's not showing up like I want it to.
That's a miss.
Okay. Then that's about it.
Okay. All right, Rhodes.
I genuinely don't know what he would yell out in this instance beyond what the actual F-bomb. So we'll go... These gifs are killing me. So we'll go with that. And I guess the most logical course of action would be to drop down a channel divinity to, what is it called? Why can't I find it? The turn on... No. Radiance of the Dawn, I would like to do.
Okay. What's that do?
I'm trying to figure out how to cast it in chat. As an action, you can use Channel Divinity and present your holy symbol to dispel any magical darkness within 30 feet. Each hostile creature that doesn't have total cover within 30 feet must make a con saving throw DC 15 or take 2d10 plus 9 radiant damage.
Oof. I think that's a save. 17?
I'm not even going to bother rolling damage. That was a totally moot point on my part then.
Yeah, they don't even get a bonus on their con save. It just rolled really well.
God damn. Excuse my language, but these motherfucking snakes on these motherfucking path. I I don't even know what else to do on my turn. I was not expecting this.
No shit.
I'm assuming that counts as like my. Is
That's your
that a
action.
bonus? Oh, that is my action. Shit. And that probably counts as a spell, so I can't even cast anything as a bonus action. Correct?
No, it's not a spell. It's a channel divinity.
Yeah, it's not a spell.
Cool. So let's throw a spiritual weapon out there.
Okay,
And I think I can cast an attack in the same turn. Correct?
that's right.
Cool. Let's see how this does.
That's
Does
a
a
hit.
15 hit? Perfect. I'll
And
take it.
that's force damage, so it's not resistant to that.
And aside from like yelling out bloody murder, I obviously I should have healed, but on a reflex, this seems like the most logical decision. So that will likely be my turn.
Okay.
So I've heard the yelling, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you make of it, but you definitely hear yelling.
Okay, so I'll head in that direction.
No, Yaereene, it's getting intense. We should leave them to themselves.
That didn't sound like a happy yell. She's gonna...
Yeah, I don't think hell no denotes happy.
I might need to save him from Ysmyr with a hell no, but so I am going to use my bonus action. I'm going to use that to dash.
Okay.
I think that's the first time I've used that, so yeah, taking a moment. Can I see them now?
Yeah, you can see them.
Can I see the problem?
The real question.
Yeah, I would say that it's not a problem to see the swarm of snakes all over Rhodes.
Can I try and shoot them?
Yes.
Sorry if this goes poorly, guys. I'm going to try and shoot them.
Oh no!
It's Yaerene's go-to move, okay?
You're just gonna shoot at the cleric. That's a great idea.
No, I'm shooting at the snakes. I'm very good at this, unless I'm very bad.
Can I just recall the first session we ever met?
No.
That's a hit.
See, there we
the
go. You're just fine.
The second one, make an attack roll against Rhodes.
Okay, I think I have to roll damage for the first one, though. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's taking half damage.
And also not the... Well, are they injured already?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then that. But Rhodes, you won't get the Colossal Slayer damage. Well, yeah, I can only do it once a turn. So you're good.
I'm assuming I'll still take damage at some point.
We'll see if I hit you. Oh, yeah.
man.
Oh yeah, you definitely hit me with that.
But I did minimum damage, 7.
Yeah, and there's no Colossus
He's already
Slayer
hurting,
damage on top
though.
of
But I've already done my Colossus Slayer damage once this turn, and I can't do it a second time.
that. That's right. So, Rhodes, you only
So there
take
you
7.
go. No problem.
Thanks, Yaereene.
Anytime. I did way more damage to the snakes, twice the damage to the snakes.
No, you actually did less damage to the snakes because they're resistant.
How was I to know that, though? You just gotta get a little more resistant, Rhodes. Copy the snakes.
Guys, I'm gonna start crying right away. I'm laughing so hard.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Can I ask a dumb question, actually?
Of course.
Never mind. I don't think I do.
Okay. So the snakes aren't at half health yet, so they still get their full attack.
I tried. Sorry, guys.
Ah, boo. They miss.
This is just payback for Rash, isn't it? I live another turn.
Yep. Tempest, Yaereene has run off after hearing Ysmyr and Rhodes yelling. What are you going to do?
I get really mad that, my game done been blocked. Bear with me while I measure distance.
Rhodes did it again.
Oh, heck. With my, if I take the dash action, I can easily get there. However, I could also throw a throwing axe at Rhodes and see if I hit the snakes.
You could definitely try
do
that.
it.
That sounds like a great idea. Wonderful.
Yeah, nobody's tried that today.
No, and it would be a disadvantage too because it's just out of like the optimum range increment.
That's
Okay,
okay.
I'll refrain from throwing an axe at the writhing snake pile covering my friend, and will simply use my my action to dash and end my turn next to them. That's it for me.
Okay. All right, Ysmyr.
Okay, just can she just try and banish the snakes?
Does banish work on a swarm?
No, it's one creature. Dang.
Can you banish them without banishing me?
Well, they would be the target, not Rhodes.
Would it make sense to banish Rhodes for a little while?
I mean,
Honestly, you know what? Fair.
He wouldn't complain about anybody shooting him anymore, that's for sure.
One time.
I think she's going to bonus action put her Hexblade's curse on the swarm, and then she'll take a swing at them.
What's the wording on that curse?
It's one creature, so it depends on if you see the swarm as a creature or not.
I think it's a swarm of creatures.
Okay. A lot of her stuff is like big area things. That's really annoying.
Oh, you know what? I just realized retroactively moving forward, we're going to have to nix that spiritual weapon. Because I have healed other people, I am out of spells for today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, so it didn't take that force damage then.
No, it did not.
How bad does Rhodes look? Because she's going to banish him.
Not great!
Okay, she's gonna see that and be like, just go hang out for a bit, and Ysmyr's gonna reach out and banish him.
Love it!
Oh,
no! That
Hi,
is
Rhodes.
Proper teamwork.
Off I go into the void.
You're not resisting it, I assume?
Absolutely not. This hurts.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye, guys. Good luck.
Anything else, Ysmyr?
I think. Well, that's her action. No, because I don't think you can attack with your offhand if you're not a second attack person. So I guess that's it.
Okay. Rhodes doesn't get a turn.
The
Rhodes
void's
is
really
floating in the
nice.
void.
Thanks.
He can take a breather.
It'll be a lot easier to get those snakes now that Rhodes not getting in the way.
I just see Rhodes like being all angry, like frickin' cock blocked by snakes.
I hope you have a much easier time of shooting the snakes.
That's a hit.
Excellent.
And also a hit.
And given that, this was serious enough that Ysmyr just made Rhodes go away, she's going to take a third shot.
Okay. And another hit.
See? Rhodes isn't in the way anymore. Easy peasy.
Anything else on your turn?
No, we're all good. Sorry.
I hurt so much from laughing right now.
Ysmyr, you can take an attack of opportunity as the swarm moves over to Tempus.
Absolutely.
I believe I also would too, using my polearm mastery feat.
20 to hit
20 hits.
for 20 damage. Oh, that's what I don't.
What?
It did my other sword. Ignore that. It's not liking me.
It's not entering your reach, Tempus. So I don't think you get that.
Never mind me. Sorry.
Okay, Ysmyr does 9 damage with the Moonblade.
No, you don't.
No? Okay.
And this is half swarm bite on Tempus. Tempus, does a 20 hit?
It certainly does. Here comes a Constitution saving throw.
Yep. Okay, so you're going to take 8 piercing and 7 poison, and 1 more con save, please.
Oh, no.
Alrighty then.
Rhodes did train up some clerics, right?
Absolutely, I did.
Yeah, the town had some clerics, and I think I said that they've all been casting their healing spells to help others get back on their feet.
Okay,
Keep
how about
the line moving.
Katira?
Maybe. I mean, he would probably still have spells. He didn't say he cast any. Anyway, now that's their turn. All right, Tempest, you are covered in snakes.
That'll be 2 reckless halberd attacks against them.
Yep. 2 hits.
Oh, and I forgot to declare it, but would you allow me to bonus action rage before I attack?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's 2d10 plus 3 plus, I think it's 4 rage damage now. I'm sorry, let me confirm that. I'm mistaken, it's still plus 3. So 2d10 plus 14.
Well, that'll kill them. Although, they are undead. Oh, but they don't have that zombie ability to stay up with 1 hit point. So yeah, they're just dead.
Ysmyr will look around for anything else before she lets Rhodes come back.
How did you guys summon snakes?
We didn't summon them; they showed up. But if the coast seems clear, Ysmyr will drop the banishment.
Yaereene will sit down, ask Tempest to guard her while she sits down and tries to see if there's any more undead really close. That
Okay.
will take 10 rounds.
Tempest will do so, and while he's doing so, would you allow him to sniff the air and see if he can detect any undead in the area by their foul stench?
Sure, give me a perception check.
Straight d20 with no modifier.
You do smell undead, but it's probably because they were all over you. It's hard to get the smell out of your nose.
Okay, I'll just pace around Yaereene then.
Okay. So Rhodes comes. Or wait, you're leaving Rhodes there, right?
Oh, I said Ysmyr will make sure coast is clear, and then she'll let Rhodes come back. She'll drop the spell.
Okay, so Rhodes comes back.
I feel
Sorry.
like Rhodes is just gonna sit there in the snow and be like, well, it's a good thing Katiara gave his crown to my mom, because at least she didn't have to see all of this.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Rhodes is going to take a moment to look around, assess the situation. I'm assuming he sees Tempest and Yaereene not far off, and he looks back to Ysmyr, and judging that their cover is still in place, he just goes, yeah, I'm fine. This is fine.
All right.
Did anyone else get hurt? I think some of the lower level clerics might still have some healing left.
You and Tempest. Well, you got the worst of the biting, but Tempest got bit too, so we should get you checked out.
A good plan.
Ysmyr will lean in and just kind of whisper, "There's always later."
Oh my god!
From up.
Now, since I'm paying attention and guarding and stuff, may I roll to see if I heard that?
Oh, that was dead low.
You can
Roll a
give me a perception
disadvantage?
check. No, the DC will just be really hard. No, you don't hear it.
Curses.
Rhodes will just offer Ysmyr a half-hearted smile and just go, maybe another night.
She'll pat his shoulder and then, I guess, start walking towards the others.
I would like to say before Ysmyr leaves, God, there's 2 Y names in the campaign and I somehow get them mixed up. Before Ysmyr leaves, Rhodes will just, in a glimpse of his old self, say, these were not the serpents I was expecting tonight.
Oh!
And she keeps walking.
Does Tempest hear that?
Yaereene will kind of come out of her trance. Is anybody other than Tempest nearby still?
I think Ysmyr was approaching you guys.
Yeah, she was moving over to you guys.
They're still surrounding us everywhere. Not surrounding, they're just all around, but no other ones are super close.
Okay. I don't think we're going to be able to get the people to move, so we're just going to have to up the watch, I think.
I don't know what they're doing, or if there's just so many, we're just kind of in their way.
Honestly, I kind of feel like it's the latter. Zothier and Karsanth mentioned that there's not many animals, so it sounds like even the animals are being turned, and she'll wave back to where the snake's body is.
And I didn't see very many animals when I was out either.
Neither did I.
All right, so I'm going to assume a lot of creatures are just, if they're not being driven, they're just going to be aimless, and we're just kind of around us.
So assuming Rhodes recovers enough to approach at this point, he'll probably just relay similar information that he offered earlier of the whole, the undead have turned all of the local fauna, the local monsters, everything. The last attack on Elliston was primarily made up of wildlife and local monsters, including dire penguins.
Dire penguins. Did you just say dire penguins?
I did not stutter.
Huh.
That's a new one.
Try fighting them.
I'd rather not.
Like, how do they generally attack?
It's still too soon to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everything about tonight has been unexpected.
So Rhodes, looking very exhausted and beat up once again, is just like, I would just like to go to camp and get a full night's rest.
Yes, come on, let's get you two looked at. Those were undead, and I think we've all know there's a risk to that. Plus, your mother was mentioning having to keep an eye on people who got bit. So let's go get that fixed up now.
And so Rhodes will take a moment to kind of intercept the group, look at each one of them levelly, and just go, no one breathes a word of this to my mother.
Okay.
He's asking her, Yaereene, not to talk. She's happy enough.
You got the Ysmyr is like nods and is like, okay.
Rhodes will look pointedly at Tempest.
What's it worth to you?
What do you want?
I'll think on it. Do you acknowledge that you owe me a favor?
Honestly, I owe you at least 3 by this point, but sure, yeah, okay.
4 favors acknowledged. Ha 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 ha. And we'll go back to camp.
Player question, is Ysmyr still wearing the wreath that Rhodes put on her?
Unless it fell off, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you're still wearing it.
That is all.
Okay, you guys head back to camp. What are you going to do?
Make sure Rhodes and Tempest get checked for any like zombie rot, and if there's some healing available, get them healed.
So with that critical failure on that con save, how are my wounds doing there, Ryan?
Also with the failure, how am I?
You can give me a medicine check too.
Could we also get some of the other priests to give them a medicine check?
I'm okay.
Rhodes, you take a look at the injuries you sustained, and you can see that there is a little bit of necrosis setting in.
I'm fine. I'm just going to rub some dirt on it. There we go. Lots of dirt, really in the wound.
Can I also make a medicine check on Tempest?
Please?
Sure.
Please?
Can I use the hinder action so they roll at Rhodes has to roll at disadvantage on account of all the dirt I've rubbed into it?
Jesus Christ.
Roll again, Rhodes.
I mean, there isn't actually a hinder action, but okay.
You've made it harder to check. You can't tell.
Oh no!
The wound is so filthy that you can't get a good look at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tempest will be fine, guys.
Can we just dump a whole lot of water on him?
Do you have a whole lot of water?
Maybe not.
If only I had create water.
Prestidigitate him clean.
Thank
Okay, you prestidigitate him clean.
May I make another check?
Yes.
you. With a clean Tempest now. Much easier.
No disadvantage.
No, my wound dirt.
Your favorite dirt.
Tempest looks fine to me, guys. I don't know why you had to douse him with water.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm going to die of zombie rot for a stupid joke. Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, you're just marveling at how clean his leg is. It's amazing.
Wow. Dumping water on him did an amazing job, guys. You're so good at this.
I try a check.
But Rhodes just told you that he looks fine.
Yeah, don't see why you would, Ysmyr.
Does Rhodes look good at the moment?
Yeah, Rhodes looks fine.
Okay.
To be fair, Rhodes is also at like 15 hit points,
That's
so
what
like
I
that
was
is
thinking.
questionable.
I was wondering if he was questionable because of his massive injuries.
Oh no, he's fine.
He's good. He's got this. Okay. Excellent.
That's good. Like Tempest
There's-
looks fine to me.
Okay. Ysmyr is going to insist you both get checked anyway.
Okay.
I mean, Ysmyr, I looked over myself. I'm fine, 100%. I looked at Tempest. He also seems fine in spite of the dirt he rubbed all over his wounds.
You know
We're
for
both fine.
that's a lie. You know you have zombie rot.
I don't. Well,
Yeah, you're pretty sure you do.
okay, fair, but I'm not going to tell Ysmyr that.
Okay.
Whoa!
Can you give me a deception check, please?
Yes, I will.
What do I roll? An insight?
Insight. Yep.
I would also like to roll insight.
Yeah. You're fairly sure Rhodes is lying that he's fine. Ysmyr, you Rhodes would never lie to you.
More like she's side-eyeing him strongly, but can't say anything.
Rhodes? And she's giving you some real funny looks.
It's shh.
Why? And she's whispering back, but not particularly subtly.
We have enough to worry about. It's fine. I'll get it handled.
She's gonna stick to Rhodes like glue until the handling happens.
So how is Tempest doing?
He's great.
Yay?
Assuming Ysmyr is sticking to Rhodes like glue, and I'm assuming, or not Ysmyr, sorry, Yaereene has corralled both Rhodes and Tempest. Rhodes may or may not mutter very quietly a name of a competent cleric that may or may not still have spells, if he knows of one.
Yeah, there's got to be clerics in the camp that still have spells, right? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're like 4 days into travel.
And
Most people should be
Katira.
fine.
And Katira.
Yeah.
And I have converted a lot of people, okay? That was a very riveting speech.
Yeah, Katira doesn't have lesser restoration.
Darn.
He can certainly cast healing spells to patch Rhodes up.
That is not quite what we need.
Nope. So yeah, you go back to camp and start asking around with the clerics. Most of them have already used their spells, healing, feeding people, that type of stuff. I'm going to roll a couple of percentile dice to see if you guys get lucky here.
Oh no.
So you talk to a couple of the clerics that you know are more powerful, and they apologize profusely because they've used their spells for the day.
Realistically, what are the chances of us lasting till morning?
From what you've seen with the zombie rot, it can take hold fairly quickly. Like if you remain actively searching the camp, the wounds could start to fester early. If you were to rest and stay inactive, it can take longer for the zombie rot to set in. At this point, it's not a guarantee. You think there's a chance that your immune system might fend it off and you'll be okay. But if it sets in, then the only way to get rid of it will be through magical means.
I don't suppose any final desperate prayers would suffice, would they?
You don't have that ability for that's like 11th level or something like that for a cleric to ask for divine intervention, right?
God, after all this work I did getting him a whole bunch of new followers.
Those ungrateful gods, huh?
I think we may just have to wait this one out then.
Oh yeah, it's 10th level. It's divine intervention.
Okay, so we go out into the woods. We fight a bunch more zombies in the hopes that Rhodes gets to that level.
And only Rhodes. Because you're fine.
Jesus Christ. Is Tempest fine?
Do I feel fine?
Right now you do, yeah.
No, yeah, I'm fine.
So,
I mean, way too topical, but just like I know it's not COVID, it's just a cold.
So what are you guys going to do?
Set up a rotating watch and wait for morning.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Best we got if we don't have those heals.
Rhodes and Tempest. Some time passes. And I normally don't do this, but I am going to remind you that you probably both got DM inspiration as I ask you to make another con save.
I'm
will
gonna.
And note
proceed
he's
make a
asking you to
con save
make
with
it.
inspiration.
He's
I'm-
also asking you to make it, not to fail it, to make it.
I'm going to wait for my next con save to use my DM inspiration, assuming I get one.
You've already failed one, so this will be your second one.
And in the past, we've usually had it happen for third. I believe that Ysmyr, at the very beginning of the adventure, was 2 out of 3. So I'm going to save it for when I'm 2 in the hole.
Okay, I'm going to say that you guys have learned enough about zombie rot to know this information. That the reason she was making the third save was to see if she died and turned into a zombie.
And as soon as you make one successful save, you're done.
Oh, well then.
Life is good.
Bottoms up, let's do it.
Okay, fine. DM inspiration, like a loser.
It is shift for advantage, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So give it to me straight, Doc.
Could there have been like a bless or something? If Kitiara has anything.
It's fine. Rhodes passed the save, so the necrosis does not take hold.
Go, Rhodes!
25.
And good thing Tempest used his DM inspiration, because that 6 wouldn't have done it. Although you get +6, right? So, yeah.
I
you're
do,
fine.
so it would have been 12, yeah.
Yep, either way, you're fine.
So all in all, we're in for a rough night, but everything's okay.
Yeah, you guys don't turn into zombies.
Just get a bad case of the meat sweats.
That sounds just so icky.
Right?
You've never had the meat sweats before?
Define that!
It's
You
when
eat so much meat, you start sweating.
you eat too much meat, often around like a holiday or a festival or something, and then like you wake up in the middle of the night sweaty and gross and clammy because your body is trying to burn off all those calories. You feel gross and icky, and you question your life choices as to why you ate so much, and then you swear to yourself that you're done, you're going to be more moderate in the future, but you know it's a lie.
I imagine
never done that.
I imagine that is how both Tempest's and Rhodes' nights go.
Yeah. It in the morning, you're fine, but it is a bit of a rough night, especially with the worry that maybe the zombie rot is going to set. But by the morning, you're pretty confident it hasn't.
So are like Rhodes and Tempest kept in some kind of like internment area together? Are they kept separately? Like, what are the sleeping arrangements around this? Like, how are they going to wake up?
Yeah, they would have been kept separate from the rest of the group just in case, with guards posted to watch them. And through the night, you do hear guards reacting to undead periodically. So it's not a super restful night for anybody, really. But there's no large threats that would threaten the refugees. It's just every once in a while a zombie walks in and gets taken down pretty quick.
Where are Ysmyr and Yaereene?
It's the morning. Probably you just check, like going around making sure people are good to go for the day.
And Yaereene will still be checking approximately every hour around, just trying to keep a feel for where and what's going on.
Okay.
Am I also able to roll 2 hit dice to see how much I recover?
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
That's some terrible rolls.
That's amazing. Oh my god. I'm just very tired, guys. I got nothing left in the tank.
Oh, quit your whining. You've got like 9 more d8s you can throw. Excuse me, you've got 7 more you can throw. and you'll get half of them back after we finish the night's rest. So keep throwing dice.
All right, I will keep throwing dice. I'm just going to steadily recover overnight. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
Well, okay, I'll admit I was dropping in and out during your guys' discussion. Did we come to a resolution as to, like, are most of the refugees continuing on to Tazalora? Do they have an escort? Are some of them coming with us to Kalalan?
I think our goal was they go to Thezalora to rest, get supplies, those who are willing to follow us, and then when they're ready, I don't know if we want to do a sending or something to people or what, but then we can tell them, okay, come north when we've had a chance to check out Kalalan.
Sounds good. So with no further ado, do we start heading off into the wilderness? Are you able to track the ley line?
First, Rhodes, you were going to message Maddie to make sure things were good so that the dragons could decide if they were going to keep escorting people.
Yes, because I believe your last scry had been Maddie and another dragon holding each other upset, and there was kind of an ambiguous leave off there, correct?
Yep.
So yes, Rhodes will send. I will think of a sending to do to Maggie.
Maddie.
Fuck, you're right, Maddie. My mind is still on Ferrum.
Fair enough. But I think biggest idea would be for the morning, making sure people know they're to continue on to Thezalora. Katira did the whole like tell your story thing with them, and then if anyone needs to talk to anyone else or move on after we figure out this thing with the dragons, I guess we're gonna keep on the road. So
Okay. The people of Eliston are very thankful for your help overnight, keeping them safe, and they will continue on to Thezalora for the next 4 days.
And does Ysmyr give us a direction? Do we know where we're going? Are you able to sense the ley lines? Spill the beans.
I think mostly she was, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, she was able to find old maps and stuff, right? Or get a general idea during her studies with Fond?
Katiara definitely looked at old maps of the area.
Katira, okay.
Yeah. And so he knows the rough location of Kalalan. And it's to the west of you guys where you are now.
Okay. Then if anything, Ysmyr, since she knows there's the ley line's supposed to like kind of run through, she'll be looking for signs that we're on the right track. But otherwise, it's going to be relying on Katira's map.
Okay. You've got Yaereene in the party, so travel will be fairly effortless. And both Yaereene and Tempest can scavenge food from the woods, although as you go, you're not finding any animals. The undead, you don't really run across them as you travel. Anytime that Yaereene checks, they're still around, but they're not accosting you or anything.
She will continue to keep checking regularly, even if she's not learning anything new.
Okay. So you're continuing to see what you'd been seeing before on the road. There's dozens of undead in a 5-mile radius, kind of scattered irregularly all over the place. So you guys travel for about a week through the woods like this. Before you see Ysmyr, you see signs that you could be near the ley line. The forest here, it doesn't look like a natural forest anymore. It blooms in strange ways. The trees are shaped unnaturally. You see flowers blooming, even though it's cold. It just looks odd.
Okay. She'll mention to the others that we seem to be on the right track. And I guess we'll keep using those signs to keep an eye as we go forward.
Okay. So you follow the ley line by looking at the trees and the shrubs and everything in the area. And another 3 days pass. Again, the undead aren't assaulting you, but it is quiet here. And you approach a castle. It's still in the woods. At this point, you haven't made it all the way to the shore of the ocean, but you see nestled in the woods a large stone building. The grounds around it are clear of snow and green in a circle all the way around the castle.
Clearly natural.
Sure.
Okay, I guess, do we want to get closer and scout around it?
From your research into this journey, are we likely to find fey creatures around here?
I honestly don't know. I'd like to see if make sure this is actually the place, and if it is, see if maybe even just being royal blood is enough first.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anything.
You guys try to get a bit closer. I'll stay around and do a little bit of scouting.
I would like to input that Rhodes would retroactively report that he had received word back from Maddie that they are fine and they've agreed to help the refugees.
Okay, perfect.
Emphasis on fine.
There.
All right, what are you guys going to do?
Tempus going to split off from the party a little bit, and he's looking for a real big tree.
A real big tree. Give me a perception check. That's a pretty good perception check. As you are standing in the woods, the area clears around the castle, so there aren't trees up close to it in the green zone. But you can see off in the distance over the other trees, there is a particularly large tree that stands some distance away.
And looking at that tree, can I pick up anything about, like, what the Wanderers Association warned me about?
Oh, you're going to have to remind me what they warned you about.
They were talking about a giant dragon, the likes of which they had never seen before. Or, not giant. They said a strange dragon, the likes of which they had never seen before. And that they had learned to avoid the big tree.
So you don't see any signs of a dragon around the tree from this distance. It looks like it would probably be a couple of hours away to walk there.
Well, I'll come let the party know that I did say that as part of the recap that Tempest had let at least Ysmyr know, or I maybe didn't say it in the recap, but Tempest did let Ysmyr know about the warning that he had for the big tree, and he'll tell her that he may have found the big tree and maybe she'd like to come check it out.
Yeah, she'd be willing to go look.
And yeah, just explain that it's possibly a few hours away, but there might be something to do with dragons, so might be worth checking out.
Okay. Has the rest of the party been doing anything while Tempest was looking around?
Yaereene will be, she'll scout again for undead. She'll also be trying to pay attention to this castle and see if she can figure out why it looks different in a circle around the castle.
Okay. You don't sense any undead in the area of the castle, but there are still undead elsewhere all around you. As for why the castle looks different, there's no snow inside. Everything looks pristine. Like the castle is not designed like any you've seen before, but it doesn't look like it's run down or anything.
Ysmyr, we just got that fancy wand. Do you want to detect magic?
Sure. And I guess she'll break out that wand of detection we got.
Wand of... Sorry, what is the wand called?
Wand of magic detection.
Okay. So that casts detect magic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, there is definitely strong abjuration magic coming from a large dome that covers the castle.
Okay, she'll relay that. Basically just, so it's like it's covered in a dome of abjuration magic, but I'm not getting anything else right now. So, are we still taking a look before Tempest wants to go look at the tree?
Your call.
Just wondering what happens if we approach that dome area.
Knowing that there is abjuration magic, could we like kind of roll for perception to figure out like where it cuts off, what it might be for, anything like that, or would that be like an Arcana roll?
You can give me an Arcana check for it.
I do not have a lot of stats in that, so we'll see how this goes. Not great. I don't know anything.
Well,
Ask nicely.
you do know. You do know that the boundary of the dome is very clearly marked by the green zone because it's all snow outside of that. But yeah, other than that, you don't know anything.
So I'm probably gonna look to like Ysmyr and be like, you're more familiar with this magic stuff. Do you have any insight to this?
Can I try?
Sure. Yeah, you from what you've learned, what you've heard, and what you're seeing here, you're guessing that the barrier keeps out everything and everyone that isn't allowed to be in there.
Okay, so you would need permissions to be in. I just if what Fawn and I found was right, it's kind of limited to a select few. Are we right by the barrier? I'm assuming. Yep. Can she reach out and just lightly try and touch it?
You don't feel anything.
Okay. It's not doing anything to me yet.
Do you want me to try?
I was going to say, without even asking, Rhodes would also reach out his hand to lightly touch the barrier.
Rhodes, you do feel a solid field there.
So Rhodes will look at Ysmyr and relay that information and be like, it's different between you and I. It is a very solid obstacle for me.
Yaereene will also try. I'm assuming she finds the same thing as Rhodes.
It is solid for you, Yaereene.
She will report on that as well.
Tiara probably wouldn't want to be left out on this, and he doesn't feel anything.
Ooh, fascinating.
So, I think the bloodline thing seems right. Ysmyr will glance at the others and then take a deep breath and step forward.
Rhodes will look to, like, if Ysmyr is stepping forward, Rhodes will look to the rest and very uncomfortably mention, wasn't there something about entry being granted to those who partake of Fey blood, including drinking of it?
Royal blood too.
It just seems like a bad way to go.
Well, I mean, if it's working for Ysmyr and Tiara, could they give up some of their blood?
I mean, arguably, by that logic alone, it wouldn't have to be a fatal amount.
I'm assuming that just holding on to one of you, like holding hands, you can't cross through?
Nope. At this point, Tempest, you'd be back with the group.
Yeah, I assume everybody would catch me up on everything.
Ysmyr, just while she's on the other side, she's just going to take a look around first before turning back to the others. Just make sure, like, stepping across doesn't change anything, I guess.
You don't feel any different, except warmer. It is noticeably warmer and comfortable here. Everything is lush and green, and the castle appears to be in excellent condition.
Okay. She doesn't want to go too far forward without them, though, so she'll, like, come back and step out to join them. So, well, I didn't blow up.
If the question of blood is true, and what you've read of drinking of a certain type of blood, is that something we want to try, or do we want to find another avenue now?
I mean, if you're willing to give us a taste, I'm happy to drink your blood. Alternatively, I think I know how I could find us a Fey.
I'm sorry, that's a statement that's going to need some more context, please, Tempus.
Well, I mean, we live out in the woods, right? My tribe and I, and we always have to be on the lookout for Fey creatures because they're notorious pranksters. They make milk go off, They steal unattended pies and all such, mischief.
Well, let's try what we have here before we go fae hunting, huh?
Yep, I volunteer my services. Whose blood am I drinking?
I think Ysmyr will pull out her old dagger and got a cup.
Rhodes might subtly interject between Ysmyr and Tempest, and just be like, I mean, if anyone's gonna follow you on the other side, it might as well be somebody who can heal, right? He's gonna pretend that's the entire sole reason he has offered this.
Can Tempest detect that Rhodes might potentially be jealous?
You don't have to roll. I won't even say you have to roll. It's fine.
Tempest is silently just grinning and looks like the smuggest son of a gun.
I guess you're right. Okay. Well, if it works for one, everyone's going to have to do it. And if Kitira and I can go through, Kitira can let you guys take a drink too.
He'd be happy to do that. First, he wants to see proof that people need it, because he's he can just touch the where the barrier is, and he doesn't feel anything. So he's not 100% convinced that they're not just being pranksters.
Okay, then with that, I guess Ysmyr is going to, on probably her arm, make a decent cut. So it's not just a few drops, but actually, you can get something out of it.
Okay.
If we have a container or something, I guess she'd let it go in there.
Oh, you're not just gonna make me suck it from your arm?
I mean, if you want to.
I mean, if there is no beverage containers around, I assume that is the route we are gonna go.
You guys are weird. That's all I gotta say.
Well, here. Tempest will make a cup with his hands, and he will catch it, and you can drink it from Tempest's hands.
I would just like to declare that no part of this is my fetish.
Clarity's always good.
However, the whatever the blood is administered in, whether it is the vessel of Tempest's hand or drank directly from Ysmyr, Rhodes will, with his internal objections, partake to see if it is worthwhile to drink the blood of our party members to see if we can enter this castle.
Okay. You drink Ysmyr's blood.
I'm half hoping this does not work, you guys.
Yeah, but and Ysmyr's gonna just give her arm a quick wrap for now.
I mean, it's been long enough. I can give you a healing spell.
It's just a cut. Just wait.
No more faffing about. For science. And Tempest is going to shove Rhodes towards the barrier.
Do I faceplant into a solid wall of the barrier?
You sure do.
Oh, thank goodness.
And Ysmyr will catch him and steady him and just be like, well, that was unproductive and disgusting.
Rhodes will lean into Ysmyr and say in the quietest way he can possibly manage that is meant for Ysmyr alone, I'll have you know this is not my fetish.
Okay, I want to make a perception check to see if I hear that, and then I want to make, I don't know, an insight or an intelligence check to see if Yaereene understands that.
And Ysmyr's biting her cheeks really hard right now.
Rhodes is maintaining a complete straight face. There is no acknowledgement that he has said this on Rhodes' part. I assume that roll from Tempest is his perception check.
Good.
It was.
She doesn't hear a thing.
You guys don't hear anything.
Excellent.
Well, that didn't work. Shall we try to find a fey creature?
I guess so, but doesn't it seem a teeny bit mean?
Could maybe Kitira and I just go take a look around first? Maybe there's some signs of how we can let others in.
I mean, arguably, as we've already seen, Kitira and Ysmyr can pass. There is no guarantee that even finding what we would argue is a full-blooded fae would guarantee us a success.
Yeah, I agree. It's totally fine to just split the party and have fun exploring without
Well,
us.
here's my thing. My concern with the whole Fae idea is that it's just like the royal blood idea. It's stuff read in a book that isn't actually what happens or properly understood.
Well, your blood appeared to let us in, so that part seemed right.
It lets me in.
Right, so maybe the other part's also true? Are there any bad Fae creatures? Could we be doing a good thing by doing this?
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say blood is not my chosen meal.
Nor mine.
Look, who knows what manner of wickedness or dangers there might have been here. If Ysmyr and Katiara go in alone and we're not able to help them, that is just so risky and dumb. We've been down this road before. Splitting the party is never a good idea.
I'm also against the concept of them going in by themselves.
Ysmyr, it would be intolerable if we had to stay here and watch the two of you die while being unable to try and help.
The minute you stop supervising me, I'm going to go and try and find a fey creature. So, you might as well help me.
Can you let us look around here? Maybe we'll find one.
Sure thing. Take a look around. If it does, I will try and lure one out.
Don't go out of eyeshot. Don't go where we can't see you. And make sure you can come back to us.
So who's trying to find a fey and how?
I would say that perhaps we go looking for one. I don't know exactly how to find a Fae creature. But if you can tell me what I should be tracking, I can probably try.
Yeah, do any of us know anything about Fae? Like, is that something we can roll for?
You can roll a... what check would that be?
Nature?
Arcana, history,
No.
nature?
Arcana or history, I would say.
I don't think I know anything.
I might know something.
Apparently, Yaereene has studied the Fae like crazy.
Well, she didn't talk a lot with her parents. She had to do something.
Honestly, that track.
You have heard stories that track with what Tempus was saying earlier about Fae being tricky and troublemakers. While they won't lie to you, they will say things in such a way that they're telling the truth, but it may not mean what you think it means. There are stories of Fey creatures learning someone's name and controlling them. It's important that you don't go into a Fey's debt and they don't go into yours. They find it rude if you thank them for anything. What else? You shouldn't eat from their food unless you're invited. If you are in debt to a Fae, repay the debt, but don't return more than you borrowed. Don't accept gifts from the Fae. Don't give them cheap clothing. Don't mention that you have a newborn at home or speak the names of children. And don't step into a fairy ring. Those are general rules.
So Yaereene will pass all of that on with I'm not sure it's a good plan to get near them. I don't think I want to talk to them. I'll get nervous and forget one of those rules.
And considering all the things that Rhodes has come to understand in his stay in Tazalora, he will also propose that he is not one of the ones who talk to Fae, considering he has 3 children under the age of 2.
You were busy.
Apparently.
Oh boy.
Tempest, it's all up to you.
Or Ysmyr, Ysmyr and Katiara could come with us to search.
Ysmyr's pregnant. It can't be her.
You guys don't know that yet.
I was thinking,
shit. No, you're right. Fair. My bad.
Yaereene doesn't know anything about that. Ysmyr can totally come with us.
100%. There's no reason Ysmyr can't come with us at all.
And she's a really good talker.
She's so diplomatic.
See, it only makes sense.
So there's sort of 2 ways that I think we could maybe go about this. The Fae like it when you leave out food for them, so we could try leaving out some sweets and some milk and see if that lures them in, and we could try trapping them that way. Or we could try, offering up some sort of thing that they want in exchange for, hanging out with us and letting us drink a bit of their blood for a bit.
What would a fae realistically want?
Shiny jewelry, a night of passion, some sort of magical secret, magic items.
Rhodes already has 3 children. What's one more?
I'm just saying, you got 2 people in the party who could be candidates.
Well, here I was planning on asking, so Rhodes, do you feel up for it? And then I was expecting you to say no, and then I'd be like, why aren't you single? But you wrecked it.
To be fair, it was just a hookup. Technically, Rhodes is single.
Gasp.
Are you saying it was just a hookup right now? Because
by that logic, Ysmyr is also single.
This is true.
Tell you what, I'm gonna try setting a trap, priming the pump. All of you should just sort of array yourselves and just hang out and see if something comes of it. We might be able to lure out a fey creature or two.
Can you explain the premises of this trap to us, Tempus, so we know what we are getting into?
Well, I'm going to set myself up in a grove, and all of you should arrange yourselves around me, just keeping a watch. And I'm going to set up a circumstance in which a fae would be drawn in, find it inevitable to impossible for them to resist.
Are you going to offer a fae a night of passion?
No, I'm in a committed relationship.
Yaereene will throw a grin at him.
So, what about you is going to tempt a fae to come out? Why are we using you as bait?
Well, I know how their minds work. Trust me.
That sounds reasonable.
I'm usually worried when you say that.
I am equally worried.
I trust Tempus.
Rhodes will look to Ysmyr.
I don't know what else to do. I'd rather it is willing to work with us. That's my one thing.
Well, just be real gentle when you catch it, I guess.
Fawn said that it doesn't have to be willing. That suggests that can be a space for willingness. So talking to it, luring one out to talk to it would be far better.
That's all I'm going to do is try and lure it out.
Yaereene is sitting there looking at her bow and her arrows, trying to figure out how they can be not painful.
All right, so what's going on?
Well, if everybody is willing to hide themselves in the bushes around a grove around Tempest is going to start gathering big heavy logs and big heavy sticks, and he's going to start building a great big tall wood pyramid, more of a wood tower maybe.
You mean he's not going to make laurel crowns again?
Nope, this is going to be less of an arts and crafts, more of just a great big pile of wooden pieces that he is very carefully balancing on top of each other. And once he's made the pile pretty ridiculously high, to the point where he can't even, up on tippy toe reach to pile any more things on top, he is then going to look at the tower he's built and then try to climb to the top of it, hopefully putting him 10 to 12 feet in the air.
Okay. I will point out that the trees are quite small here, so it's going to take many of them to create this pile, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah, if you're good with that, I'm going to pile them all up, make it as big as I can, and ever so gingerly climb to the top.
Okay. Can you give me an athletics check?
Let me just check my bear totem. I don't know if it would give me advantage on a climbing check.
Okay.
I don't believe so. It just says push, pull, lift, or break objects. So straight 1d20 plus 7 coming up.
Okay. Yep, that'll do it. You climb up your pyramid of the broken trees.
So standing up at the top, really high above the ground, and I mean, this is just basically a big pile of wood that he's put together. It's probably shifting and maybe even swaying a little bit. Tempest is going to heave a little sigh. He's going to cross his arms, and then he's going to look up to the sky and call out, "Boy, it would really be a shame if somebody toppled my tower and knocked me over to the ground. I don't know how I could live with the shame of it."
Okay. You call that out, and nothing happens.
I'll wait 5 more minutes.
You wait 5 more minutes.
After 5 minutes pass, Tempest will then call, "Well, I guess there's nobody brave enough to assault my tower. Truly it is of such great construction that nothing could ever take it down. I am invincible and full of my own hubris. Ha ha!
You're still standing at the top of your tower.
I'm going to wait another 5 more minutes and then declare my final victory."
5 minutes pass.
Tempest will sigh and will climb down the tower. "Sorry, I was really hoping they'd come and try to knock me off my tower. It's the kind of thing that..." Oh, sorry? Athletics check to climb down? Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, as Tempest goes to climb down, he's going to hesitate for a second, and then he's going to pratfall off the tower to the ground. Could I give you a performance roll?
Sure.
Oh no.
So yeah, overdramatic, really cheesy, not convincing at all. Tempest pretends to fall off his wobbly tower.
And you take 4 points of damage as you hit the ground. And high is bad. You take an additional 9 points as the tower collapses on you.
And presumably with no Fae coming out, Tempest will explain that he had been hoping that one of them would be attracted to his japes by trying to knock the tower over, and picking, wood splinters out of his head, he'll shrug and say, "Well, I guess we can try and bake a pie for them next."
So Rhodes will come out of hiding and approach Tempest and be like, "Tempest, can I have a man chat with you?"
I mean, sure.
Away from and he's gonna glance towards Yaereene and Ysmyr and go, away from the ladies.
I mean, okay, and we'll go off into the bushes away from the ladies.
So Rhodes will lead Tempest off, and then once he figures he is out of earshot, he's gonna take a breath and be like, "Fae are also interested in Firstborn, correct?"
I mean, that's part of the legend of our tribes, yeah.
If you can promise me, absolutely, under no circumstances can the Fae make good on the deal that they can take a Firstborn, then perhaps we may have what we need here to lure one out.
I don't understand.
Can you promise me that we can catch a Fae without a doubt and make sure that they won't make good on taking of anyone's children or Firstborn?
No, that's stupid. If you promise to give them a child, you really ought to follow through on it. Catching them won't make a difference, even if you bleed them dry after.
Then it is a fruitless effort. I have nothing to contribute.
Who here has a firstborn that you're aware of?
I said it is a fruitless effort, and I have nothing to contribute.
Well, that's mighty mysterious.
And Rhodes will turn and walk back to the party.
Little bit touchy there, aren't ya?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ryan, in my recollections, did I know anything about how to find Fae?
If you can find a fairy circle of mushrooms, there are usually Fae around those.
Okay. So I guess do you guys want me to start searching for fairy circles?
I mean, my other plan is to build the tower even taller, so that's probably best.
Okay. So I will start looking.
Okay, give me a survival check. You.
Oh, I don't know why it's rolling. Oh, that's not me. Okay, good.
You look around the outskirts and surrounding area, and you don't see any fairy circles.
Can you use me a look on the other side of the barrier?
Sure.
No guarantees, but worth a look.
KTR will help you too, so you can roll again.
Oh, okay. Much better.
Yeah, you take a look around, and you don't see any tracks of any kind or any fairy rings or anything inside the barrier.
Okay, coming back. I think we're out of luck on that side.
One other idea is, Fae are often connected to, like, very impressive trees. And there was that big old tree back there. I mean, no guarantee that it has anything to do with the Fae, because the Wanderers Association was warning of a dragon, but we could give it a try.
I think that's reasonable given that we don't know what else to do.
Short of Katia and I just walking to check out the front door, yeah.
So with no real objections, are we heading to the tree?
I think so. It got really quiet in here. Is that just me?
Sorry, I'm
typing
getting
stuff.
some messages typed at me here.
Oh, good, good. I was worried that I'd lost you guys.
Just waiting for answers. Okay, well, and for a moment, Ysmyr has her hand resting on the moon blade. Well, according to my friend here, what we've heard is true. It is only those of noble blood or Fae touched who can get in. So I guess for the rest of you, we do absolutely need to look into this. It's not there's not a workaround we're aware of.
Okay, hold on a minute. We've only drank Ysmyr's blood, right?
Yes.
Katiara, get yourself over here.
Oh,
I'm going to say that he doesn't look terribly impressed with this idea and is going to quip something like, "How about you come over here?"
Tempest is going to try and walk over to him.
Tempest doesn't feel the barrier.
What?
we never checked with him, actually.
Do you need permission? Rhodes, come over here.
Rhodes will take a moment and he'll walk towards Ysmyr.
Rhodes hits a barrier.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not permission, guys. As I'm assuming Rhodes is recovering from, like, face planting into an invisible barrier.
Multiple times now.
Okay.
Yaereene has tried the barrier, right?
Yeah, could not get in.
Tempest's eyes are a little bit bugged right now.
Okay, this is a player question. Rhodes was not present when Tempest was asking after a certain, what was it, Ernie Farstrider, correct?
Correct, but he would have told you about his dad and his dad's name previously.
But Farstrider is a common surname that we have seen, correct?
I'm not sure if you've seen it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think we've met anyone with it.
Okay, I might have just been hearing it and making correlations. Disregard me.
I
And
hope.
see,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Yaereene is even minor nobility, just not relevant nobility.
Katia, do you want to try inviting them instead of me?
KTR invites you guys.
I'll slowly inch up to the barriers so as to not face plant like Rhodes has.
Yeah, you still feel the barrier there.
Okay, cool.
This entire time I thought that my father was human, that he was a man, and now I'm going to have to start rethinking all of this. But, oh well, who wants to take a taste of Tempest's blood?
I, for one, think I have drank enough. I think there is another way around this.
Nope, I'm a Fae-touched creature, and I want you to drink my blood.
And Yareene's definitely nodding in Rhodes' direction.
Thanks, Yaereene.
You're welcome.
I think we need a Fae creature for those two.
Yes, me, Tempest the Fae.
You're not a Fae just because you declare it, Tempus.
Drink my blood and prove me wrong.
Really glad he's getting into that argument with you.
You know what? You've already stabbed me twice. Fine. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Sorry, you've already stabbed me twice and thrown me into a frozen lake. Bring it.
And Tempest will gash his palm, like, real good and just, like, jam it into Rhodes' mouth.
Rhodes would like to state around Tempest's bloody palm that he is very uncomfortable with this.
Then, Tempest, you're going to take a couple more points of damage.
I have noted it, and I will shove Rhodes at the barrier.
I assume I will faceplant yet another time.
Yes, you will.
I repeat, stop leaning on Rhodes, and we need a Fae creature for him.
I know you've got a vendetta on me for leaving the party, but honestly, Tempest.
So good.
Okay.
Does he have any indents in his face yet?
No, those are covered up by the lightning scars.
Oh, handy!
Oh my god, I'm losing it. Then the only other suggestion that I have out of game is that my little japes and pranks amused whatever watching Faye enough that they blessed me to let me in. So, Yaereene and Rhodes, time to work on a comedy routine. Am I able to cross the barrier again, Ryan?
Yeah, you can cross.
You suggest that Yaereene put on some sort of comedy act,
I
and
think if
she
they
is deer in headlights.
I think if they were laughing, Rhodes' face plants would have gotten him in here at one point.
I agree. If it was the matter of a comedy act, I should have been able to pass over 3 times.
Rhodes, now hear me out. Run at the barrier really hard. For
No.
time for all.
Absolutely not.
Look at how well it's making the rest of us laugh.
At this rate, I have more of a chance of getting in than Yaereene does. And then if the 4 of us can get in and Yaereene can't, I think Yaereene should be the one to take a run at the barrier.
Fair enough. If you run at the barrier and then you get in, she will too.
Pardon?
If you face plant on the barrier and that lets you in, she will totally try it too.
This is a terrible idea. We should find something else.
Rhodes, you're the cleric. You have to believe.
I'm
dying, you guys.
Tempest will start the chant. Rhodes, Rhodes, Rhodes.
I'm sorry. I need to take a moment. I'm laughing too hard.
You guys, we just got him back.
How much HP do I have, and how many times can I stand to be run into this barrier? That being said, Rhodes will not consent to running into the barrier. This is not something he is interested in doing, in light of the numerous, at least 3 times that he has walked head first into this thing.
Oh, I just had another thought. Has Yaereene actually tried the barrier yet?
Yes, she feels a solid when she reaches out and touches it.
Okay. All right. My other thought is that being a servant of evil, the barrier can't touch me, but that's probably not the case. So yeah, I don't want to split the party. Unless you guys want to do something, why don't we head to the big tree?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I really don't like the idea of splitting us. I'm sorry, I can't figure out how to get in.
I mean, if we can get Yaereene in, that's fine. We can leave Rhodes behind again. I'm sure everything will be totally okay.
No.
No way.
So as they walk towards the tree, Rhodes is probably going to ask Tempest what else he knows about Fae and their... or I guess he would ask Yaereene, because Yaereene is the one with this knowledge. He would ask Yaereene what she knows about Fae and their connection to children and that kind of avenue.
They want them and they take them away. Sometimes there's changelings. And Ryan, if I'm wrong on any of this, just let me know.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll swap children and then they take yours and then they give you one that looks like it that will eventually, well, not so eventually, but will die. And then you'll think, oh, my child just died. But really, they've got it. I don't know what they want them for, though.
Oh,
I haven't heard of very many Fae children. Maybe they just don't get very many.
That sounds totally not ominous at all.
No, I don't think it's good, actually.
Rhodes will continue to remain tight-lipped about his Tazalora activities.
Sounds good. So you guys walk for a couple of hours through the woods and eventually get to the giant tree.
I see a black screen. Have I been banished to the void once more?
Probably.
Oh no, it's just night, so you can't see anything because you're human.
Ah, that's fine.
Do you want a light spell on you?
I can totally cast light as a bonus cantrip, so sure, let's do that.
Before you do that, Tempest did warn you that he did receive warnings that this tree has something to do with a weird dragon, the likes of which the Wanderers Association had never seen. Are you
cool?
Are you
then
sure?
I will.
I will remain blind, and I will place my hand upon the shoulder of whoever else would like to lead me blindly through this adventure.
I think he needs light.
I think I would like to move a little ways away then, if that's okay.
Oh boy. What is the verdict? Am I casting a light spell?
I would say cast it on a rock or something so that you can keep it low, in your hand.
Temp is also going to split off from the party just a little bit.
So no one wants to be my seeing eye party member.
Oh,
for
I
this
would have.
endeavor?
I would have if
Are
you'd
you doing
have
light
kept
or
in the
not?
dark.
I'd be willing to, but if you're casting light and giving away my stealth, then no.
I will pick up a rock in preparation, but I would also ask that Tempest lead me through this. So I will not cast light yet, but if a situation arises where I think I need to see, I will use it then.
Ysmyr can see 120 feet, so she could lead you while we're still far enough behind the others.
Cool, if you'd rather my hands on you, that's fine.
Okay then, we have a plan.
Tempest's feelings are hurt because he doesn't have the insight to detect the context in that remark.
Lead me, Ysmyr.
So Ryan, do we hear or see anything?
What, you don't want a queen?
I didn't say that.
You can give me a perception check. It is eerily quiet here. There's no sounds at all. And all you see is the large tree ahead of you is larger than any other tree you've ever seen.
Other than its size, does it look like a normal tree?
Yeah, it's just huge.
So looking around at the party, if Yaereene wants to circle off to one direction, Tempest is going to approach the tree directly.
Yeah, I'll go off to the side.
Maybe the rest of us go to another side?
Sounds good.
Small trees? Rhodes, assume Ysmyr's leading you?
Yeah, I will follow whoever is telling me to go places.
Tempest is just going to do a quick scan of his friends, and then is going to indicate that he's going to approach the tree itself.
Okay.
Taking a good hard look around. I don't know if you'd let me roll my previous perception roll forward because it was really good, or if you want a new one.
Yeah, you don't see anything different as you approach the tree.
Give it a gentle little knock with my left hand.
Okay. You hear a soft voice from inside the tree say, "Yes? Who's there?"
My name is Tempest, elf friend.
Hi, Tempest, elf friend.
Who are you?
I'd like you to dance now. And you can give me a wisdom save.
He just broke it in the first sentence.
Yeah, well, you turn over a new leaf and stop being evil. 12 total.
You start dancing.
But I told you not to share your name.
I guess I forgot. Look, it's 10:53 over in my part of the country here.
And Fae are tricky. Fae are very tricky.
Yeah, he asked me my name, and I just, I gave it to him politely.
I know.
Okay, so Tempest is going to dance, but because the Fae wasn't terribly prescriptive, he is going to be basically delivering a dance of the jagged tusk. He's doing a haka at this tree. Because there isn't necessarily a visible threat, he is just doing the jagged tusk dance of welcome. He is throwing off his clothes and armor and, bellowing out words of welcome in Orcish and just sort of pounding his chest and pulling faces. And it's maybe a much more violent kind of performance of dance than you've seen before, but I'll give you a roll for it.
Rhodes leans closer to Ysmyr as he hears Tempest calling out in Orcish and goes, "What's happening?"
So, Tempest greeted whoever was there, and now he's dancing.
21 total for my dance check.
That's
Rolling
very
rocks.
Nice. You're dancing at the tree, and it's not long before you hear the giggling voice behind you. And when you turn, you see a large, feathery creature watching you, and it's kind of it's dancing a little bit too.
Well, Tempest will come to the end of the traditional dance. Is he able to stop?
No.
Tempest is going to transition into the Jagged Tusk Challenge dance that he delivered to Yaereene's parents, just basically trying to show that he is brave and not afraid of this circumstance.
Are you stripping?
I've assumed that by the end of the first dance I was already naked, so if not, continue.
Okay.
I had already assumed he was nude.
The creature continues to watch you, and you can see that it appears to be smiling as it's watching you dance.
Once again, what's happening?
He's still dancing and it's watching him. I don't know if we should step in.
Ysmyr, move away from me.
Okay.
When you guys are whispering, the creature looks over at you, Ysmyr, you can see, and it says, "He dances quite nice, doesn't he?"
Yes, he does. And she'll take a step away from Rhodes.
Are you a friend of Tempest elf friend, since you're an elf?
Yes,
Well, that's nice. And who are you?
a friend.
Oh, that's good. It's nice to have friends.
Can I tell how far Ysmyr is from me?
You can probably hear her voice right nearby, yeah.
How close is Ysmyr? Because I can't see it on the map.
Sorry, she's like, she's only 5 feet away.
Is it possible that I would walk approximately 15 feet away from her?
You want to walk away from her?
Yes.
Which direction?
Preferably away from her and towards the voice that I hear.
Yeah, you can head 15 feet in that direction.
Oh, kind DM, can you please place me in the appropriate spot? Because I can't see anything. Cool, I would like to cast light.
Okay.
So I would like to cast light on the stone pebble thing that I was holding. Preferably, hopefully I would be out of range of the party, but TBD.
Okay. You cast light, and the creature kind of squints at you, and says, "Oh, that's a nice trick, I suppose. And who are you, light man?"
I am but a humble cleric who, unfortunately, due to my even humbler roots, could not look upon your grace. Thus I needed this trick, as you called it.
Oh, you want to look at me?
Sure.
Too bad. And it vanishes.
Is Tempest still dancing?
Yep.
So I guess there's no indication of where he went, eh?
No, you feel a soft breeze, and hear flapping of wings, but you don't know where it went to.
Assuming the party is what I see in my range, I would like to head further away from the party to take them out of my range. So if it's going to be attracted to the light or be evident that it's looking in the light, it is focused on me and not the rest of the party.
Okay.
Can I see it?
You sure can. It just all of a sudden pops into existence right beside you, and
I jump about a foot.
Yeah, its face is like right beside your face, and it's just smiling at you. And it's like, "Hi,
Hi.
who are you?"
Hi. I'm with them. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, are you a friend of Tempest elf friend too? Since you're an elf.
Yeah, I'm friends with all of them.
Wow, so many friends. That must be really nice.
Do you have friends?
Oh, I used to a long time ago, but then I came here and I don't anymore. But it's okay, cause I really like this tree. It's nice.
Who are your friends?
Oh, I had so many friends.
And you can tell that Yaereene really feels for this "you don't have any friends" thing. She's with this creature.
Yeah, I had lots of friends. I really shouldn't tell you their names, though. You know, it's kind of against the rules. But had lots. Yeah, lots and lots across all of the kingdoms. Really, I went all over the place. I used to spend so much time with them, playing and talking and dancing, like your friend, Tempest elf friend over there.
Yeah, he doesn't usually dance for that long. That is kind of weird.
Oh, do you think you'll get tired?
Probably at some point, yeah.
Well, you know, If he gets tired, I guess he'll just stop dancing and fall down, right?
Wouldn't he just stop dancing without falling down?
I don't know. I guess if I told him he could stop dancing.
You made him dance? How come?
'Cause it's fun.
Is this what happened to all of your other friends?
Oh no, they like to dance all on their own. I didn't have to tell them to dance. But, mortals are funny, and sometimes you gotta tell them what to do.
You know what? He would probably just dance if you asked nicely rather than told him.
Oh yeah?
Probably.
You wanna take a bet?
Oh, I don't know if I can do that, but just probably. I don't know for sure though.
Oh, we'll just make it a little bet. Maybe like 10 gold pieces or something.
She's looking frantically at Ysmyr. Why do you like the tree so much?
It's big and magic. It's like the biggest tree I've ever seen in this world. It kind of reminds me of my tree back home.
You're not from this world?
Oh no.
How'd you get here?
I came through a portal, and I was not allowed to go back through.
How come? I'd be sad if I had to go away from my whole world.
Yeah, I am sad. But the king in this world told me that I had to stay here.
Oh no, how come?
'Cause I'm a fae, and he said if he ever needed friends to go see him, he'd tell them to come visit me here, and it's not very nice.
Oh, I think I know. And you're right, it isn't very nice. We are trying to go into that city.
Oh, are you friends with the king?
We haven't met the king yet. But I'm hopeful.
I guess you need some of my blood then, eh?
Well, we understand that that's the way, but if there's another way, I'd rather do that.
I think
Not
we
that
all
I
would.
know of.
Oh,
Have any of the rest of us heard this conversation, or is it just between this creature and
No,
Yaereene?
it's talking plenty loud for everybody to hear.
Okay. So Rhodes will, based on Tempest's suspicion, Rhodes will ask, "Is it possible that you could allow us permission to enter?"
Well, the only way to get permission to enter is to be either of noble blood or noble blood.
What if you did that and it didn't work?
Oh, well, see, there's two different kinds of noble. Like, I'm pure Fey, so my blood works. But if it's like the king's blood, you couldn't drink the king's blood. That would just be silly. It's way too diluted.
Uh-huh. So it has to be pure.
Yeah.
do you ever go visit the king?
No, he doesn't like me very much, so I stay here. Or to
Well,
stay so I don't get in trouble.
well, what if someone from the king's family says you can come visit?
Well, I think the king's the king, so I think he makes the rules. I don't think it would matter if someone else said that I could do anything if the king said I couldn't.
Do you know the king's name?
No, he wouldn't tell me. I just know his nickname.
What's his nickname?
He's the Canopy King.
Okay.
What
Well,
if the queen told you?
Well, from what I know, from talking to little elves who came to visit me in the past, the queen doesn't live around here. So I don't know how I'd ever hear from the queen.
what if a new queen showed up?
Oh, but don't elves live a real long time? Well, how would there be a new queen?
How long have you been here?
Oh, I don't know. Haven't really kept track. A long time, though.
Friend Faye, if I may intercede, is there a title by which we may safely call you by?
I like what you just said.
All right, friend Faye. Our other friend, Tempest elf friend,
Is it possible that you could ask him to stop dancing so he would not fall to exhaustion? We quite value him. We would like him to be well.
But his dance is so funny. I've never seen a dance like that before.
I'm sure he would happily dance for you of his own free will if you would just but ask him to.
But she won't bet me.
But I would dance with him for you.
Oh yeah? So you think he would dance with you? And then you'd win the bet.
Oh, I wasn't. And she's throwing frantic glances at Ysmyr again.
So Rhodes will step in and be like, "Well, no, this is now between you and me, is it not, friend Faye?"
Do you want to bet?
What are the parameters of your bet? I would know the terms before I accept, as I assume you would also ask of me if had I proposed the same question.
That's fair. If he'll dance without me making him dance, you can have 5 gold pieces. And if he won't dance, I get 5 gold pieces.
Now Rhodes is broke, so he's gonna throw a glance at Ysmyr.
He's glancing at Ysmyr.
Oh, sugar mama.
And she'll just nod, like, yeah, you can have some money.
So he'll look back at the dragon and be like, "If the gold pieces is all that you ask of, then yes, I do believe that Tempest Elfriend would dance willfully."
Okay. Tempest Elfriend, you can stop dancing.
And Yaereene will promptly ask him to dance with her.
Oh, but Tempest was told to stop dancing, and he doesn't dance.
What if I try real hard?
Looks like he's not listening.
Now, hold on a second. From what I understand of Faye, from what I've learned, he's not listening because isn't he still following your directive? You're not giving him his own chance to decide if he wants to do it or not.
I mean, you told me to tell him to stop dancing, so I told him to stop.
That's a bit of an unfair prerogative, don't you think? You've kind of stacked the scales in your favor.
Did I?
You don't think you did?
I think you owe me 5 gold.
Then 5 gold you shall receive, but I'm saying I don't believe the premise was fair.
Oh.
Are you wanting to be friends? Because it's nice to be fair with your friends.
Well, you've already got so many friends. What would one more be?
She looks at him dead serious and says, every friend matters a lot. I had none. Every single friend matters.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And Rhodes also having a moment of severity in light of everything he's been through in the past 2 weeks is also going to be like, and friends are honest with each other.
Oh, we were honest.
True.
Did
but
you
were
not
we fair?
Did it,
Honest and fair are 2 different things.
Elfriend, I've also been very honest with my friends, but not very fair with them. And
Well, I
I've
don't
heard.
like being called elf friend so much.
Or sorry, no, that was a player mistake.
Okay.
Sorry, friend Faye. That was a player mistake. My bad. Friend Faye, I've also been very honest with my friends, but equally not very fair with them, and they have been rightfully upset with me for it.
Oh, so you're saying you're upset with me?
I'm not upset with you. I'm saying that if you would like to be friends, I would like to develop a friendship that's valuable.
Oh. What do you find valuable?
Honesty and fairness. Traits that I haven't shown a lot to my friends, but have learned are very valuable in my friendships with them.
Yeah, you're not showing them to me either. I was told I'd get 5 gold pieces.
So he'll look to Ysmyr and be like, so...
Ysmyr will pull out the 5 gold and bring them over. They missed the part where it was supposed to be a free will.
Oh.
So assuming
Tempest didn't have free will to make the choice, it was an unfair bet. But they made it anyway, so here's your 5 gold pieces.
Thank you.
Next time a bet is made, it has to be... I would say free will should be included, shouldn't it?
Oh, well, if it's stated, certainly.
May I speak?
Yes?
So it turns out that I might have some sort of Fey ancestry. Are you able to tell me about that?
And the creature leans forward and gives you a sniff and says, "Yep."
Can you tell me any more about that?
Oh, I don't know. I think we'd need to trade.
I mean, you already have my name and basically have gained dominion over me. What could I possibly offer you?
Maybe if you changed your name to Tempus Fey Friend. Oh, wait. Tempus Fey Friend Friends. No, that's not right. Tempus Friends of Fey Friend. Yes, that one. Tempus Friends of Fey Friend.
I mean, sure, but just just so you understand, I am an orc of the Jagged Tusk. Our names change often based on our deed. I could definitely change my name to that now, but it may not stay.
I think it should stay.
So Rhodes will glance between Tempest and our Fey friend and ask, could someone else make this change in his stead? Would you accept that?
Nope.
Is there an alternative you would accept if someone else offered to lay down something of equal value?
Well, see, this is a question that Tempest Friends of Fey Friend, or he hasn't agreed yet, Tempest Elf Friend, has asked of me directly, so I don't think it would be fair for someone else to pay the price for the question he asked.
But Tempest is my brother, and any price you ask of him is an equal fair price to ask of his brother.
The creature takes a step closer and sniffs you and says, "You're not his brother."
What we are not in blood, we are in spirit and heart.
That doesn't really count.
You're all making way too many deals.
I will accept my new name if you are able to tell me about my ancestry and my father, Ernie Farstrider.
Oh, I don't know an Ernie Farstrider. But I do sense that you've got some Eladrin in you. About half.
Okay, thank you for the heads up. I'm gonna kill my mother when I see her next.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Right, so we're looking to get some of your blood so we can get into the city. What
Oh,
can we
you don't need
do
it.
for it?
You can go in.
Well, I can go in, but not my two friends here.
Which two friends? I see four.
Well, both Ysmyr and Katiara are able to get in. It's only Yaereene and Rhodes that haven't been able to do so on their own.
Thanks.
God damn it!
No, you didn't get her whole name. Ha!
Yeah, you got none of our whole names.
He got Katiara's, for
Not
sure.
his last name.
Not the last names of anyone.
Do they need the
Tempest?
full name?
I think so.
If it's supposed to be a true name, then I would say yes. If they just can automatically do it by being able to address somebody, then I would say no.
Oh yeah, it's never share your full name. Okay.
So Tempest is going to get a sharp Tempest from Ysmyr.
So Ysmyr, Katiara, Rhodes, and Yaereene, eh? That's fun.
2 of us need entry to the city.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'll need some Fey blood then.
I
And-
mean, as my associate here has been very clear, we would rather it not come to that. But if that is what we must do, then that is the boon we must ask.
When the king asked you to let people in, did he offer you a payment?
Oh yeah, there's always a trade.
What did the king offer you?
Well, the king's never had to ask me for entrance to his own castle.
No, but
his-
I thought he asked you
his-
to let people in.
Yeah. But it's more that they pay me to let them in, because it hurts.
Yeah, I get that.
What is the standard price?
Oh, there isn't really a standard. It's whatever we decide is fair.
And as you know, I prefer to be fair and honest with my friends. What do you believe is fair, Fey friend?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm looking at you guys, and you look pretty tough. So I don't think I really want to fight you.
I would also heal you afterwards, so it didn't have to hurt for very long. I don't like that it would hurt you.
I would also offer my assistance in that regards.
Yeah? So if we fight, you'll heal me?
I would prefer not to fight you. If we do require an amount of your blood, then we will heal you after that. But I do not wish to fight you.
If you offered your blood to us, I would heal you afterwards because I wouldn't want you to hurt. It seems an unfair price to get into that city.
Oh. But I can't. Yeah, I can't just give it to you and heal, and you guys heal me. That's because you still get something quite a bit of value, and I just get healed.
I wasn't saying that would be the price. I was saying I don't like to leave you injured.
Oh, okay.
That is
So-
part of the price. That is without question. Of course, we would heal you. We don't want to see you hurt.
Okay, so if we fight, you'll heal me.
I do not wish to fight you. I do not want to fight.
Okay, so we need to think of a different deal.
Without combat, what would you state as fair?
Well, creatures like me, like treasure. I could always go for some treasure.
Ysmyr will pull out her silver dagger. Is this worth it?
Do you need my blood?
No, but they do.
And she needs us.
I don't really feel comfortable taking payment from you for them.
And if it was something she gifted to us to pay unto you, would you accept it?
Yes.
So I guess Rhodes would hold his hand out for the dagger.
And she would hand it over, specifically saying, "Here's a gift for you."
And Rhodes would look back to our Fey friend and ask, "Is this enough for both myself and one other person's passage?"
Oh, that's been touched by a devil.
If this is not a suitable gift, then we will simply find something else.
Well, it's not that it's not a suitable gift. It's just I didn't realize I was dealing with people who made deals with devils.
I haven't.
This is but an object that has been imbued upon us. We don't know its full state. I don't believe myself or my associate who needs passage has made any dealings with any kind of devils.
Ysmyr, did you make a deal with the devil with this dagger?
A long time ago, but we ended the deal.
Oh, see, your idea of a long time and mine is completely different.
But the gift is not from Ysmyr. The gift is from myself and my associate, Yaereene.
So you made a deal with the devil.
We have made no such deals. We are simply passing forward something that has been passed unto us.
You made a deal with a person who deals with devils.
Is it a deal if she gave it freely?
It was a gift.
Maybe not. Maybe you're right. Either way, an item defiled by a devil probably shouldn't be out and about, so I should probably take care of it. Because that Oribus, he's got a bad smell to him.
Are you saying you accept this gift in terms of what we have asked for?
I will allow one of you to enter the city in exchange for that dagger.
Then what will it take to allow us both?
Another gift.
Does the armor and shield that Rhodes no longer needs count as a gift?
You still need your armor, don't you?
Or sorry, the shield and the mace that he no longer needs. My bad.
Pick one. He said one gift.
Sorry, Ryan, I didn't hear you.
Are either of them magical?
The shield is.
I believe the shield was a +2.
Okay.
Yeah, shield +2.
Okay. For the dagger and the shield, you can both gain passage to Kaelin.
And those are the terms. There's no addition to them.
Those are the terms.
So we can pass the barrier freely.
Once you drink my blood, yes.
And once we partake of that, we will willfully heal you, because we do not want to see you suffer.
Okay.
So for the shield and the dagger, and for willfully healing you, we will gain passage.
Yes.
Rhodes will look to Yaereene to confirm.
Deer in headlights, look.
Rhodes will look to the party to see if there is anything he has missed.
Blood traded at the same time as the weapons. So no chasing it down.
sorry to interrupt, guys. I'm going to sign off for the night. It sounds like we almost got it, and despite my best efforts to sink us. So thank you so much for the great game. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night. Thank
All
you.
right, have a good
Yeah, have a
night.
good night. All right, so are you guys accepting the deal?
Unless we see a reason not to.
Like, we're going to be screwed no matter what for making a deal, so.
Accurate. Rhodes is willing to accept this consequence, but whether or not Yaereene wants to get dragged down with him is another question entirely.
Just make sure you're going to have the blood in hand at the same time you hand the stuff over.
Maybe that should be part of the deal?
All right, so we turn over the dagger, we receive the blood as requested, and then we turn over the shield. Is that fair?
You give me the dagger. I'll give blood for one of you. You give me the shield. I'll give blood for the other.
Then Yaereene will be the first to receive.
Okay.
When will you give blood for the second? Immediately after?
And then
it
healed. That way you're all covered.
Yeah, the creature does look at you shrewdly, Yaereene, but says, yes, immediately after.
And then, as Ysmyr stated, we will heal you.
Okay.
As part of the deal. Agreed?
Agreed.
So Rhodes will hand over the shield.
And the creature draws a claw across its forearm, for lack of a better word, and allows you to drink.
Yaereene does.
Yaereene does what?
She does drink.
Okay. And then the creature turns to Rhodes.
And then Rhodes will hand over the dagger.
And the creature allows you to drink of its blood.
Which he does, and then hopefully and assuming it works, Rhodes would then use a Cure Wounds on the creature.
Okay. And the wound closes. All right. Well, I guess you're going to go now, right?
Would you like to come?
No, I'll stay here. The king told me to stay.
Why do you do what he says?
Oh, because he's the king.
Yeah, but you come from another world. He's not your king.
Well, he's my king now because I'm in this world.
Would you like us to visit you?
Sure.
I mean, after all, you are a Fey friend. That means you're a friend, right?
I am Fey friend.
But that means, to some degree, you are a friend, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
If you would like to be at some point in time, let us know.
Okay.
And so Rhodes will bow very deeply to our Fey friend, and that will, leave it at the bow.
And when you rise from the bow, Fey friend is gone.
Rhodes will let out a breath he did not know he was holding, and propose going back to the castle.
All right. We'll leave it there for tonight. And next
Can't
time...
we just see if it actually works, Ryan? Please! I'm dying!
It didn't work. We did all this for nothing.
Entirely impossible!
Okay, you guys return to Kaelin, no problem.
And can I go through the barrier?
You can.
Can I go through the barrier?
You can.
Perfect. Are all of my 3 children safe?
Well, you didn't mention them.
Accurate.
All right. So we'll leave it there for tonight. You guys can all enter the grounds of the castle now. So good job, everybody.
Thank you so much for answering that question, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
That was wild. Oh my goodness.
Ups and downs and twists and turns.
Just the way I like it.
It was fabulous.
I might have some whiplash to recover from.